And we are live. That is not just about the soda open, and I just wanted to have the sound of it. But we are live. We are here to continue the Kshatriya. As you can see, we didn't make the most progress on it, but at the same time, this little devil, which is either sacrilegious or fitting. I don't really know what Kshatriya is in Hindu lore, but this little devil has a little bit more complexity than we thought it would have. But also, we've been a little out of practice because we didn't build anything last week. So we're just going to jump right back into it. Actually, while I'm jumping back into it, I'd like to say how I meant to watch Gundam X today, but the time that I had 2 hours set aside before stream to do it. But for those 2 hours, I ended up just watching another VTuber because they were doing a Gunpla showcase. So instead of catching back up, I was just watching Gunpla stream, as you do. Hold on, let me get the background music up for Stars and Stripes Forever. Oop, I forgot to put that on. Ah! I hate when that happens. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we'll just jump right back into it, but not too far, as you can see. But also I expected this build to take a little bit longer because it's a bit more... This is a Switch controller for some reason. A bit more to it than your normal high grade. So there's actually a lot of things that we've been impressed by. One of the biggest things I've been impressed by so far has been just these parts right here and how these are just fitted. These are just friction, just fitted in like an egg in an egg holder, and they're just solid in there. It's a really good solid fit. This is, even though 16 years old, it has some really good friction joints. Some of the friction joints a little too good, like we have found with these. These were very hard to put together. And actually, I'm still very happy that I decided to end stream with those and not start stream with them. But let us get right into it. There's also just so many sprues to go through and everything. It's another reason why it's been taking a hot minute. Let's see here, we have G, H, E. This is not a sprue from this build. This is the sprue from the Gundam Turn A. What the hell? I'm getting everything out except for what I need for this build. My god. Okay, let's... Oh my god. There's always also the process, just when you first start a build, learning... Ooh. I won't be needing those sprues, so I'm just gonna put them over there. When you're learning, like, what color what sprues are. That is always also, like, one of the, oh, hell, thank you, Shog Mommy, for the raid! I actually started stream a little late because I was watching your raid, because I was watching your stream. I meant to start about like an hour earlier, but I really wanted to watch the Gunpla showcase. There was some very cool Gunpla in there. But we are just building the Kshatriya, as I was saying earlier, and we are moving on to the arms. Ooh. But I am Merrick, but I'm pretty sure most of you know who I am, but for those of you who are new, I am Merrick Vespa, Pioneer and VTuber. Welcome to the stream. It is my dream to make you smile, so sit down and stay a while. Ah, oh my goodness. Okay, so let us get to the... Right now we're just doing the favorite task of any building stream, and that is finding what the heck we're building. So we need D and G sprues right now, so we're just digging through all the sprues to find the D's and the G's. Okay, there's one G, and there's the other. Ooh. And actually we have a Zaku to do active comparisons as we build this. Le Belle Pepper, yes, it is Le Belle Pepper. Actually, right now I'm really excited because we're finally at 99 subs on YouTube. So we're really close to getting to 100, and when we do 100, we're gonna do patriotic karaoke, so I'm excited about that. Oh! There's more panel lining I missed out on. Or filled panel lining. I didn't notice these power pipes. We'll do that later. Right now we're focusing on doing the arm. Hello, hello, Ginja. Ooh, God, whenever I see Ginja's profile pic is just a gem, but whenever I see it on my phone, I always miss it. It always looks like, for some reason I always think it looks like Cyborg, because it's just so small, even though Cyborg has no red in his design. He's like blue and gray. He's like blue and gray. But I think I just see the visor. It's the weirdest thing. G. Looks like it's these ones. Keep those together so we don't mix those up. Actually, one thing I like about this build is there's a lot of concern because they knew how complicated they were making it, it feels, to make sure that you can't assemble it incorrectly, we've found out. Which is great because when I'm on stream, a lot of times I get easily distracted. We... Okay. But because I get easily distracted and put things together wrong. That's always nice. Oh, we also need the H sprue. Here's the H sprue. We need H10. Here. Looking for it. Oh, there it is. Actually, where's the other H sprue? Looks like there's supposed to be a second one. Let me find it real quick for you. Oh, there it is. It's at the bottom of this sprue pile. But up. Okay, so there we go. There we go. Ooh. Got actually something kind of both sad but kind of cute happened today. And that is, I learned that my dog has associated burning with the fire alarm going off, even though it's only ever happened twice. But he's absolutely terrified of the fire alarm going off, because it's just a loud noise, especially for a dog. But because I accidentally burned something on the burner today, he actually ran into the bathroom and just like sat in the bathtub, because that's the best place to get away from the noise when it starts. So I had to like comfort him and coax him out of the bathtub. Whoop. I believe it's going to be 13 and 14. Did we just crash? Did we just crash? Did it, are we still alive? Okay, we had an, on my side, we had a hiccup on the internet connection. Okay, hopefully that doesn't happen again. But we are... Ooh. After getting back into building yesterday, we're hopefully going to have things be a little more smooth, a little more clean overall. Ooh. Okay, that was weird though. Thank God it's only just a hiccup though. Okay, we need G 12 and 14. Yeah, though I wasn't able to catch up on... Oh, you're good, that's good. Okay. The internet completely died for like half a second there on my end, so I don't know if that affected stream in any meaningful way. D? No, sorry, G. But, oh, though I have not been able to watch Gundam X, I feel like it would be a good idea to refresh myself or reflect on what has happened in Gundam X, so that way I can remember what's going on in it. So the series starts, and we got new Actually, I like how the series starts and it kind of goes like, what if, like the 1 year war, instead of dropping one colony, they just dropped like half the colonies. I was like, oh, that would be very bad. Yeah, it would be bad. Is here. This one? Okay. But let's see here. They drop half the colonies. Like 15 years after that, you know, which would be about the time that an impact winter is expected to take place. Earth looks like Swiss cheese. Ooh. They introduce the one baddie girl who looks like Xena Warrior Princess, like if in a Gundam show. Actually, I really love the designs of the mecha in it, and I love how the mecha have a lot of variety to them. Like I forget what they're called, but I love how the Zaku-likes have the winter, like they're just randomly like in a winter, not a winter, so they're randomly in like a mountainous area to get through to like the next location. And so there's just like the Zaku-likes of that universe, they just have a snow version, and it's like, they look really cool because they have on their joints, they have like a fabric to protect their joints from the cold and whatnot, which I always love any time that a mobile suit has fabric over its joint for like protection, whether that's just, you know, from the elements or from like space dust or what have you. It always looks really nice. But also they're just on snowboards, which was just wonderfully 90s. It was fantastically 90s to see them just on, just like these big Zaku-looking mechs just on snowboards. But that's not really the story. The main character tries to sell the Gundam, but has like, I'm not sure, I don't remember what convinces him to go back to like fighting with everyone else. I think it's just the fact that they were in need and he understood he had a responsibility to them. I love how they have something just fell behind the table. I love how they have the Quattro Bagina equivalent of Amuro effectively in that show. Like they have, well, like literally, just think of like what would Amuro look like if he was Quattro Bagina. They have it in the show, and he's a pretty interesting character. He has like PTSD from their version of the 1 Year War. He looks cool as hell. He's always wearing sunglasses because of course he is. I think he has I'm pretty sure he has a facial scar just like Char does, actually, now that I think about it. But he got bad PTSD, can't use his new type powers because the PTSD is so bad. I think I need to get out another screw. Which also explains like why he isn't just solving all the issues in the story. Because if he didn't have PTSD, he would just, again, he'd be Amuro. And Amuro's kind of really powerful in Gundam, all things considered. Good. So, we got to the, I guess you could say Ramba Rao-like. And that's just the character whose existence is to humanize the enemy to the main character, and so that when they die, the main character has to come to terms with like the fact that, you know, he's not just like fighting faceless grunts or bandits or what have you in the case of Gundam X bandits, but he's not just fighting faceless soldiers, he's killing people every time he blows up a mech. So they got to that point in the show, and it was a pretty good one, because they're also handling like cyber new types and how just that kind of breaks people mentally. Because the character, what they do is they kind of purposely lose against the main character and then point an empty gun at him, so that way the main character will shoot him. So he pretty much commits Susie by Gundam pilot effectively. As it's a good scene, and I think that's where I left off in the show. So I think that's around episode 15, so we're not the deepest in, but I'm excited to get back into it when I have the time. Which should be tomorrow, provided I don't get distracted watching. I don't get distracted watching streamers again. A14. Oh, okay, so I feel like we're gonna stop there. Well, yeah, there's a difference between 14 and 15. So we're gonna stop there and we're gonna start assembling the arms, because up until that point, effectively, we can just follow the instructions both sides, but... Well, let's see what arm this is. Well, I don't know which arm is which, so, because I don't know which one of these I put where. So we're just gonna have to build it as is. I do like the arms, because they usually go a little bit quicker. Ooh. Huh? Up. 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 And... Ooh. Talked about that yesterday. Let me go through my topics list real quick. Ooh, I didn't delete the stuff that I had on yesterday. But... So of course so now I just have to do the scroll of shame. Oh god, I actually don't know if I've talked about this on stream before. I probably have, but I have a very sensitive homeostasis, which is a massive catch-22, especially in like a digestive fact. Because if I ever eat something I shouldn't, it doesn't matter how small it is, my body will immediately let me know. Which is great, because like I can just kind of keep myself healthy fairly easily. Fairly, like, I can just keep on top of my health very, 1 minute. I was gonna say very easily, but if you ever slip up, like, it hits you hard. I need to check Twitch real quick. Okay, we're still... Okay, so the crash did restart Twitch, but, the preview for Twitch actually died because of the restart from earlier. I was just making sure that everything was still there. Well, that kind of sucks that that happened, because that means everyone from the raid kind of just probably got thrown out then. Which is kind of the annoying thing about Twitch, if you haven't... Well, actually, no, I have it set up on Twitch where a momentary interruption shouldn't just crash stream, so... Yeah, that's completely on Twitch's side that that went sideways. Because I was only, like, down for, like, a few seconds, and I don't even think... I didn't even notice on stream it being affected live on YouTube, at least. So, ooh. That's a bit annoying. Okay, let's do this. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, that was very loud. I got a frog in my throat. Ooh, ribbit, ribbit. There we go. Thank you, other person, for slamming cupboards around right now. Very cool of you. And these are the biceps, isn't it? Your arms are like the Zaku's legs, where the thighs are actually smaller than the calves. Or in this case, the forearm is bigger than the upper arm. Whoop. This goes here, and this goes here. Okay. I could wait. Oh, there it is. Okay. This goes in here. Okay, I'm trying to take this, I'm trying to focus on the arm build because somebody told me last stream that the arms can be a little bit tricky. So I'm assuming that's going to be more when it gets to the, this part where you can't just interchange pieces. I think it's probably going to be more down to that, but I still want to take it cautiously. Because even though this build has actually been very good and like a lot of larger high-grade builds, it's actually pretty easy to correct your mistakes by disassembling it like as you're building it, which I had to do, I think, at least once while building the torso yesterday. But it's pretty forgiving. That's one of the great things about larger high-grade builds, is that from my experience is that they are on the more forgiving side of high grades. Am I losing my mind here? No, wait, yes, no, yes, no? No. It's just a little tight. I'm gonna have to take it off camera to see. Okay. I think I got, yeah. I just didn't have the panel pushed in all the way, and even though it's only out by like a centimeter, not a centimeter, by a centimeter would be a lot. By like less than a millimeter, by half a millimeter, it was not going in, which, considering the age of this mold, is really impressive that it's that precise still. Ooh. They have taken good care of the mold of this build after all these years. Uh-oh. Which is something you always like to see. They've been printing it a lot recently. I feel like I've seen it go in and out of stock at Hobby Lobby multiple times over the last year, so it's pretty easy to get your hands on in the States. I don't know how long that will last, but... What is happening here? I'm having trouble getting this aligned. This is one of those problems with any older builds, how they have like 20 connection points. And because they have like 20 pegs to I mean, that's obviously hyperbole, but this has... Oh my goodness. I see the problem. The panel actually got like loose again, even though I've already put it in. So it wasn't going in because the panel was blocking it. Okay, so I had a panel malfunction combined with the fact that I had to align 4 separate pegs. And the panel, again, is not being... What is wrong with you right now? It's actually being really pain in the ass. The panel keeps... This panel right here keeps coming out. And because of that, it's not fitting into right here. Really pissing me off. There we go. There we go. Okay, now let's get out the rest of the pieces we're going to be needing for this. And we can also cut out the other pieces for this arm while we're at it. We just have to put all the pieces over here. So a 14... Actually, wait, let's make sure... Yeah, this is the... whatever arm, I don't know which arm this is still, but it's the arm we're building, so all the pieces we're cutting out... Ooh. Will first go over here. Then it is 12? Then it is 27, 29, and 26. Oh! Oh, actually, that's kind of weird. The 26 is actually mirrored on both, on both sides. but not the other two. Ooh. So both of these are 26, but that's interesting. And my eyes just lost focus. I need to go to an eye doctor. My eyes didn't actually lose focus, but they're a little tired for some reason. Bop. There we go. Bop. Bop. Ba-da. And then we need 27. We'll be over here. Definitely don't want to get these mixed up. Whoop! That flew. Maybe I need to keep it more on camera. You just recenter this a little. There we go. Ooh. And this is D. D11 on either side. It's a mirrored piece. It doesn't matter. Actually, I'm kind of surprised it's mirrored. And then we'll have... Oh, that's the shoulder assembly. We'll wait to do the shoulder assembly. But I'm pretty sure this is already going a lot quicker. God, I hate gates in convex. Concave. Convex locations aren't bad, but concave places for gates are always annoying because you always have to get out the X-Acto knife to get them clean. Not the biggest fan of that. We probably won't be putting on any stickers on stream because gloves. No, we've done it before and actually it's gone pretty well because we use the tweezers. I had to find them to remember their name, chat. My brain works in weird ways, don't worry about it. Whoop. 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 One thing I like about these streams is a lot of times things are allowed just to get quiet and calm. You know, there's no real something always has to be happening because arguably something always is happening because it's always being built, but there's no, like, they don't have to be intense, they don't have to be constantly, you know, reaching out. Ooh. It's just more of a vibe thing with these streams, where if the audience wants to talk a lot, we talk. If the audience doesn't, we just fucking hang and we build. That's what I really like about these streams. Pretty flexible in that regard. What am I doing here? Here, this goes this, not like this. Then you plug in here. That's plugging it in on the wrong spot. Actually, let me double check something real quick, because it would be very embarrassing. Okay. Sorry, I was just double checking that when the stream crashed, it didn't affect a technical thing. I say stream crashed, it only crashed on good old Twitch. Ooh. Oh, okay, we need to rotate it, and it's going to go on. actually immediately confused. There we go. You like this. If I can, I might try to paint this, but I don't think I'm going to have much luck, so it's probably just going to be stickers. But the sleeve stickers, from my experience, are kind of hit or miss. Mostly miss. Ooh. Because they have to go over such curved surfaces, they're not really the most reliable in staying around for the longest time. There we go. That was weird. Just the panel wasn't going in right. Then... oh, it's not plugged in quite all the way. There we go. Starting to show its age, this mold, in the fact that sometimes you have to put in a little bit more effort to get things to come together, but outside of that, it's pretty good. Whoop! Almost stabbed my finger, don't worry. And you are a little loose, actually. There we go. Actually, I think I need to replace the blade itself. Feels like it's getting a little dull. There we go. Okay. One Mississippi. As actually, because somebody brought up, actually a new subscriber brought up Dragon Ball Z yesterday. I was just thinking about how just villains who are evil and loving it. And I always go back to, you know, Palpatine and Frieza, of just like unapologetically evil and having like no problem with it. I'm kind of trying to think of like other villains, just like more of those classical villains, like the wizard from Fire and Ice, who just has an empire, you know, who's just like hanging out in like the Badlands with his like Neanderthal army. Ooh. Like they are just there for their own satisfaction, and they're just lovable for it. Palpatine in the original trilogy only like appears so little, but he leaves such a mark, and you just always know like he's gonna have the time of his life while torturing people like psychologically. Ooh. Like even in The Force Awakens, sorry, not The Force Awakens, screw that, no, sorry. Even in The Force Unleashed video game, Palpatine is just, you know, he's just evil and loving it. He catches all of the rebellion, like, leadership, and he's just, you know, sitting there in front of them, and he's just like, you will be tortured. You will tell us the secrets of your allies. You will be paraded as examples of, like, a rebellion, and then you will die. It's like, he's just so happy with himself. He's just like, oh my god, I got all you guys in one place. I'm just gonna tell you, I'm just like, how you just made a mistake. You're all stupid. You're all stupid. You thought you could plan against me. I'm the master planner. Ooh. And then you will die. Or when he catches Darth Vader like training a secret apprentice, and he's just like, and he just goes like, now Vader, you gotta kill him now. Vader, my friend, my friend. What a crock of shit. But Vader, like, you were training an apprentice against me. Kill him. And he just starts, and Vader just starts throwing Star Killer like across the room in the cutscene, and I just love how Palpatine's just going, yes, kill him. He's just loving every second of it. Oh, it's also the game that has the great Darth Vader line of just, ooh. Actually, the actor for Darth Vader in that game does really good work for the voice. Sounds just like James Earl Jones. But there's a scene in that where the whole like second act of the game is the secret apprentice of Darth Vader pretty much is forming a rebellion to attack the Emperor, to like undermine the Empire and, you know, like strengthen Darth Vader's position is the idea. But it's all a ruse just to get all the all the people who have rebel sympathies in one place so they can get captured. But how it happens is like they all are in one place to form the rebellion, and then the Empire attacks. And during the Empire attack, like Starkiller, I know, wonderful name. Actually, Starkiller was the original name for Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. It was originally supposed to be Luke Starkiller, and then people were like, George, that's really edgy. How about we don't? But Starkiller says to Darth Vader, like, you promised to leave us alone! And Darth Vader just has the coldest line of, I lied. This is so cold. It is so matter of fact. It's just like, you were not like, I never cared about you. You were always a pawn from the day I took you on as apprentice. Like me and like I was talking with my master. You were never meant to like help me usurp him. You were always a tool. Which is very Sith. One of the most Sith things I've ever seen Darth Vader do. Just literally train a child from a very young age just to manipulate him his entire existence. Very cool, Vader. Very cool. Ooh. Let's get here. Actually, people don't really appreciate like Vader's machinations in Star Wars all that often. Like how during the Bespin fight, how he's just kind of like how he's effectively playing with Luke the entirety of the Bespin fight in a revenge in The Empire Strikes Back. Ooh. And actually, it's not until he both has Luke in a corner and when Luke actually strikes him does he get serious. Because at the very end of the fight, when they're on the catwalk and Vader's pushing him back, you can see Luke hits his armor on the shoulder pad, and Vader Vader grabs his shoulder and goes, ah! And then like shit gets real. Like up until that point you realize, oh, Luke Luke might be able to pull this off, and then at that point you realize Luke never had a chance to begin with. Because at that point Vader just starts wailing on him and he just like pushes him back, cuts through the it's actually really good foreshadowing, but he cuts through like the pylon on the catwalk. He actually, like, the lightsaber cuts through something before it cuts off Luke's arm as like foreshadowing. It's like this white pylon to kind of like give this visceral like bone getting cut through feeling. And you know, then you have, you know, they get in the bind. Darth Vader does this effectively and just cuts off Luke's wrist, cuts Luke's hand off at the wrist, I mean. And it's just so clean, and you just realize, oh, like Yoda was right, bro. Why did you come here? This was a mistake, guy. Ooh. You did not think this one through. Ooh. But at the same time, though, in the long term, it's a good thing that Luke did that, because the whole theme of the light side versus the dark side is empathy and selflessness versus greed and selfishness. So even though Luke did get himself hurt doing what he did, his actions... Actually, I don't know if his actions changed a damn thing. It was a learning experience, but actually I think Princess Leia was already escaping, wasn't she? I guess he just lost his hand possibly for no good reason, but the important thing is he valued his friends. Ooh. And you have the classic line in... Ooh, can we please get this on? The classic line in Return of the Jedi of just, you know, your faith in your friends is your weakness. Ooh. Fucking just Palpatine just laying it out as plainly as hell, plainly as he can. You have friends? That's lame and gay, bro. Join the dark side. We ain't got no friends here. Don't have friends. Who has friends, bro? Join the dark side where we call each other friends but kill each other at the drop of the hat. It's not toxic at all, I promise, bro. Become my new apprentice. Ignore the fact that like you're gonna become my new apprentice by killing my old apprentice. Don't worry about that. Just come on, join me, bro. We'll be friends, I promise. Ignore the fact that I, like the whole reason I got you angry in the first place was literally by gaslighting you. Ignore that, dude. We're friends here, bro. We're the friendly faction. God, I love when people like try to paint like the dark side is just like, oh no, it's just a different philosophy. No, it isn't, man. It's literally selfishness, and it's laid out clearly even in like the movies. Ooh, it's very toxic. It is pretty bad. Ooh, like a great example of it is actually in the expanded universe. Did I put that on early? I think I did. But in the expanded universe, where I think it's Darth Malgus is his name, literally kills his wife because he's just like, well, you're literally a point of failure for me. So like, I care too much about you, and because I care about you, I can't like achieve my personal goals. So I'm just gonna kill you, effectively, is what he does. He realizes that like, women are a distraction. There is only the dark side. There's only the grind, chat. It's not a good thing. The dark side is a bad thing, and people will, again, try to be like, no, it's just a philosophical, man. No, it's not. Fuck! That was intense. Sorry about that. My dog has systematically been destroying my favorite bowls for the last several months, and he just destroyed the last one. I don't know why, but he's just been destroying the bowls that I like the most, and he just destroyed the last one, so he's in the kennel for the rest of the night. That just happened. I'm a little upsetty spaghetti about that. Ooh. How does this go on? One minute, I have to double check. Okay, whatever. It's fine. Okay, let's see here. There we go. And there we go. Okay, well, I got some new gloves for when I have to take off my glove midstream. I got larger gloves, which go on better than the old ones, but they have a little extra space in the thumbs. So I'm not going to be using these unless if something like that happens where I have to put on new gloves partway through stream. Ooh. Might have to go back out one more time. Sounds like he got something that he shouldn't have. Ooh. Ba-da? God, that's a pain. Okay. Kind of sad to see what's happened with a content creator that I liked his entertainment content, but he kind of got, I feel, lost in the sauce because he started doing political content, which I don't really mind, but I feel like he got lost in the sauce, and I'm talking about, I'll just say Razor Fist. And he kind of ended up doing the whole Jack Dorsey, you know, you're sinful and evil shuffle of like this video games encourage, you know, like evil real life behavior kind of crap. Or like, you know, like things in video games like this, like pretty much just like we need to like crack down on video games rhetoric kind of bullshit. And people kind of called him out for it, and he's kind of just ran away from it all instead of taking any moment of self-reflection that maybe he's kind of been hypocritical in his most recent takes, and it's really disappointing. This is a guy who built his career partially off of being counterculture, and then he just like tied himself to a bandwagon of being, you know, the new censorious right wing for some reason, and it's just really disappointing to see. But that's kind of what happens when you tie politics before culture. When you view things systematically like that. You think in a top-down structure, and so you talk down to people. And that's really the problem. He didn't like go like, I don't think this is a good, like, I don't think Gunner games are good. He was like, what he did is he just talked down and insulted people. He didn't, because I myself think that there is some, like, I don't have a problem with Gunner games. Like, Gunner games don't really mean anything, because, you know, like, Lara Croft is a Gunner character because, you know, she has big breasts, for God's sake. Like, it's really a meaningless term. But I do think there can be a discussion on like moderation, as there is with anything. That's not what was happening. It was literally just, oh hey. But it's just weird, is what it is, because this is a guy who like built his career off of praising action movies and whatnot. I say whatnot, like literally praising action films, and you know, talking about how, you know, they were, you know, violent, you know, they had, you know, attractive women in it, and all these things, all these what have yous, and just, I don't know, it was just weird seeing that kind of fall from grace. It's also kind of really weird because, like, the context of it, of him doing it to effectively white knight for some random chick who is herself just very obviously a grifter. It was all just a weird ass experience watching it happen. You should always take a step back and be able to have perspective on things. Never tie yourself wholly to something. Always be willing to accept the fact that you might be wrong about something, because we can always be wrong. You ever let your ego get so big that you can't see that you're wrong about something? That's how you fall. That's how you make folly. Because if you do mess up, if you do overstretch, you do the wrong thing, and you go, ah, shit, I fucked up. The fact of the matter is, most people will be like, oh yeah, okay, and move on. Ooh, you have a bad take. Most people will be like, okay, it was a spur of the moment thing. You had different context for it because the person he was defending did reshift the conversation from, games that have, attractive women in them to, Prawn as a whole, because she was losing the argument so badly. But, like, if he was, like, came in and was like, oh, well, like, I thought it was a conversation about, excess of that and whatnot, it's like, but no. Because he can't take a step back from himself. You always have to be able to take a step back from yourself and be able to understand that you can fuck up. It's an important life lesson that I would give to anyone. You can always fuck up. Never think you can't, because you can. You can do something 1,000 times, do it perfectly 1,000 times, but that 1,001st time, you can still mess up on it. You should never take it for granted. Oh, that's A. No wonder I'm not finding it. You should never take for granted you being right about things, especially matters of public opinion. Because you are not the public. But that hopped. Hippity hop. Okay. For its age, this is also really good plastic. Ooh. It's always nice when you encounter old builds with nice as hail plastic. Ooh. It's not that buttery smooth plastic of like modern kits, but sometimes you do get like it's not as consistent as like modern kits, I should say, but sometimes you do get those buttery smooth cuts still in certain sections. It's still mostly clicking and clacking when you cut it off, but get those real nice shit, man. Ooh. Sorry for cursing. I don't have a problem with cursing in general, but I don't like it when I curse in a casual sense. It's not necessary. It doesn't add anything to it. And I feel like it also is a limiter. There's kind of this thing where cursing shows a more liberal tongue, and I mean liberal in like the technical, not the political sense. Shows a more liberal tongue and a willingness to use, wider language. But there's definitely a point in cursing where it becomes a crutch, and you just say it to say it because you can't think of anything else. It becomes your uhs and ers effectively, and at that point, at that point it really becomes self-defeating. It's no longer a sign of using wider vocabulary. It's a sign of having less things to say. And I don't really know where my extra blades are, so I'm just going to keep this blade on it for now. But I'll definitely switch it out either after stream or at the end of this build. Ooh. Though, a lot of people were surprised by, back on the Razorfish subject, of him kind of crashing out. And I was sad about it, but like, my perspective was a little different, because I wasn't surprised as much as it confirmed my concern, because several months back I was blocked by him for no apparent reason. I asked him if he had made a video covering a specific topic. Just like a general question, is like, hey, have you ever covered this topic? And it's like, yeah, here it is. He provided the resource for it. And I was like, oh, cool, thanks. I said, I responded just with one word, and that was gracias. because I was just in the mood to respond with gracias. It's very rare that, you know, I do that, but I was just like, yeah, you know, I'll just respond by saying gracias, and he blocked me. And I was like, oh, that was weird. Huh. I'd never had a negative interaction by him, or anything. In fact, I had only had positive interactions by him, and I got blocked. That was weird. And then I kind of like looked it up, and then I kind of just like looked up Razor blocked on Twitter and found out that yeah, he just does that for like a while. He had just been blocking people for no apparent reason. Like a lot of people just go like, hey, this guy blocked me, I've never interacted with him. And I was like, oh, that's not good. You know, like preemptive, like it wasn't simply like he was blocking people out of like he was preemptively blocking people to the point where it looked like he either was incredibly insecure or that he had a block bot, which either one is awful. But I was like, oh. But also I'm the kind of person who like gives a little too much credit, and I was like, maybe things are being misinterpreted here. But in the end of the day, nah, it really wasn't. That's one of the qualities I hate, is a lot of times we see the warning signs of something happening, but we don't say anything because we want to give benefit of the doubt, which is like healthy, but at the same time, like there's no real problem with going, I'm concerned. There's no issue with saying, I'm concerned, like, you know, maybe this is going down a wrong path, or this person might be not living up to their own standards, kind of thing. Ooh. In fact, we should be doing that more, but we're always concerned that like it might be a little rude. We're kind of always concerned that, oh, that's not really acceptable to do. Okay. And it's just disappointing, but sadly not surprising that that happened. Ooh. That is that is a very interesting shoulder joint. There's a little, my concern with this is that it's not very tight. This is not the most tight thing. But that's also a thing in general that I wish to avoid with, you know, with me. Now he created it by literally blocking anyone that might even consider. Oh, did I mess up? I feel like I messed up. I definitely messed up. That might be why it's not so tight. But he created his own hell by just blocking people preemptively for no apparent reason. I don't know what the hell that was about. Which way does this go? It goes like this, okay. But one thing I'm always conscious of, and I want to avoid myself, is falling into a similar pit trap. Oh, this is annoying. Is falling into a similar pit trap of ever having like a sycophantic fan base. And a lot of times, people create their own, like, cause their fan base to, you know, be blind to their own behavior, or become so biased that they don't call them out on their own behavior by getting rid of the people who do call them out. Oh. Hello! My god. Hey, welcome back, Bottom. Yeah, okay, well, the arms are loose, but I'm hoping that's not too big of a problem. It's a joint that should be able to be fixed pretty easily. Ooh. But, where was I? Well, one thing I always want to avoid is ever... I mean, I'm not doing commentary or anything, so it's not as big of a concern. This is more of a concern with commentary channels. But just never have a sycophantic fan base. Have a fan base that's willing to say, you fucked up. Ooh. Because it seems that that's a real quick way to kind of do irreparable damage to yourself and your audience, is by just not being able to have that moment of reflection, not having that capacity. Holy crap, this is actually really tight, though. This is really nice. This, not so much. I guess it's gonna be one of those kind of builds. And then plug in the arm. Yeah, we're okay. We're only on like we're less than an hour. Wait, no, wait. We're at an hour. I forgot because the stream restarted on Twitch. We're at an hour, so that's pretty good time for doing the arms, considering how they're more complex than your average arms. I think my average, on average, usually arms take me more like 40-ish minutes. Ooh. We're just taking it a little bit slower today than yesterday. Focusing more on the build. Reflecting on things, because sometimes that's just what we do in Gunpla streams. Realizing we're being stupid and putting the pieces on wrong. Hold up, one of these is wrong. One of these is wrong, chat. Can we figure out which one is wrong? I think they're both wrong, actually. I think this answer is yes. They're both freaking wrong. There we go, and this one goes here. No, wait. This one goes here. Yeah, they were both wrong. I plugged them in on the wrong sides. There we go. We fixed it, chat. It's beautiful now. I'm not talking about like users. I'm talking about I'm talking about like content creators themselves. When they don't listen to people, because that's actually a tricky thing to do. Because sometimes you do have people who are just bad faith themselves. But like banning people is always a tricky thing to do, and that's actually something I'm gonna hate about when I started Discord, because at least initially, I'm gonna have to be pretty much the sole moderator on it. And I trust everyone that is in my streams to behave themselves, but at the same time, there's just things that Discord does not allow you to do, because it's Discord. So I'm gonna have to pretty much read every post. Luckily, it's not gonna be a very active Discord, I'm gonna guess. Ooh. But at the same time, I don't want to be like a nanny. But it says you have to have certain responsibilities when you do these things. And it's like, I can't afford like a moderator in like the professional sense, so like that's not really an option. And I don't know which one of you I'd trust as a moderator, because the thing is, as a moderator, I'd want people who just wouldn't moderate effectively, who just wouldn't care. I'd want people who believe in freedom of speech and just wouldn't care. But the problem is, they do need to care. they need to care a lot, so that way the entire Discord's not taken down. Ooh. And that's gonna be like one of the biggest concerns of me, of just like, I don't really care what you do or say, but it's more like what you do or say against Discord. I mean, you will like, you know, you spread in like negativity and whatnot, you would get like slapped in the dick or whatever. But there's a lot of things that I would not really care about, that Discord would just arbitrarily be like, no, that's evil of you. And it's just like, what do you do? Nothing. Because Discord's annoying like that. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Not everyone views at once, though. Da-da-da. Luckily, I feel like the most active channel on the Discord would probably be the Gunpla channel, which I can't imagine controversy ever arising on the Gunpla channel outside of people just being... Well, I was gonna say like people being like, you know, like elitists or something, but like I don't think I have any viewers who are elitists. We don't really have elitist attitudes. We're pretty, you know, you can have your likes and dislikes about Gundam as much as you want here. Ooh. You know, your favorite show can be somebody else's least favorite show. It's all fine. It's fine here. We're pretty casual about Gundam here. Let's see here. Where is it? Actually, wait, if we're making the feet, can I just cut out the bottom? This is G, but I know this is G, so we're gonna cut out the bottom of the feet right now. But, but. And then here. Actually, of all the things I want to get out is the Gelgoog for this guy, because I want to compare the feet to the Gelgoog. Because I remember when I built the Gelgoog, the one thing that stood out to me was just how massive the feet are on the Gelgoog. Like, not only like because it's a bit of a bigger mecha at 19 meters, but it just has big feet in general, in all honesty. It got big stompers. Even proportionally, the Gelgoog has big old feet. Dude, I've met so many elitist Gunpla who hate on Seed like the series killed their... I'm not a fan of Seed, but I don't fucking hate on it. I just didn't like it, man. So, usually we're more Gunpla focused than a Gundam series. I like this series, but usually it seems the audience is... Well, no, the audience is actually pretty series focused. But yeah, people have said they don't like Seed, but nobody's ever, like, I think I've probably had the strongest opinion of Seed of anyone, like, on my streams. I don't think the viewers have ever had a opinion harsher than me on Seed itself. So, and again, for me, it's just like, you can have your own thing. I understand, like, what Seed is for. I understand I'm not its target audience. And that's always kind of a big thing when I criticize it, is like, I understand I'm not the target audience. It's not for me. So, like, when I'm criticizing it, it probably doesn't apply to you if you are the target audience. In fact, if you are the target audience, it doesn't apply to you at all. But for me, this ain't it, Chief. Ooh. Well, that's the great thing about the AUs of Gundam, is there's a lot of different universes. You want a Gundam universe that focuses on the fact that Gundam pilots are kind of, you know, child soldiers, and a lot of the things that are happening are kind of war crimes, and maybe we're not really following the best people in, you know, this story. Guess what? We got iron-blooded orphans for you. You want a Gundam series that tries to be everything at once for everyone all at, in one sitting? We got something for that too. It's called Gundam Wing. Its ambition was greater than its execution, but I still love Gundam Wing. Ooh. The great thing about the AUs is there's a little bit of something for everyone. You have a foot fetish? There's a Witch from Mercury episode for that. Don't ask why. Don't ask questions. You can't just say like an episode was peak and expect me to remember exactly which number that was, my dude. Oh, yeah, see, ooh. Yeah, but we've had people who say like Seed's not good, people who say Seed's is good but Destiny's bad, people who say that Seed's bad but Destiny's good. We have a good gambit here. We have a good range, and it looks like the YouTube chat has crashed. Let's go. Okay. But it's because it's like an over the... Yeah, I don't like it for... That's what I don't like. I don't like the melodrama of Seed. Ooh. The melodrama of Seed doesn't get over the top enough for me to be like, I can look at this and be like, and with a smile on my face and be like, it's crazy. If you had more like over the top, like, you know, what Flay Alstar was doing, that stuff, I was sitting back just going, oh my god. Just keep digging that hole, honey. Keep just ruining everyone else's life. What's that? That only lasted like less than 10 episodes? What was the point of it? Literally, we had peak. We had peak. We had one of the greatest crazy Gundam women I've yet seen. And then they blow it in like 10 episodes. No, keep it going. I don't care. Have her sleep with the enemy. Just start having her sleep with everyone. Okay, just have her just let's see how far she'll go to ruin her own and everyone else's life. Her dad died and she want to make that everyone else's issue. That's great motivation. How far will you go? Seed kits seem to be a bit hit or miss from what I've heard, because as Shogmami said, the Astray is a little bit... The Astrays weren't too good, but I've seen some that look good. Then again, some kits are newer, so that's also a thing, because Gundam Seed has had some newer stuff in it, because... God, aren't like a third of their like real grades like Seed or something? I can't remember. There's a lot of real grades that are just I'm pretty sure Gundam Seed, but that's because Gundam Seed just has so many Gundams in it. I love the melodrama because yeah, the melodrama is fun. The melodrama is fun, like in a telenovela sense, but it's just that it either is hitting or it's not hitting, and that's my problem. Like it's either again like a soap opera, and you're just guffaw, and it's just like this is just going all out in like the 2000s at its best. It is both the early 2000s at its best and at its worst, and that's the problem with Gundam Seed. It is, to get to the best moments of 2000s melodrama, it has to go through the worst moments of early 2000s melodrama. That's the problem, and I'm and I'm not patient enough to sit through that. I mean, I watched the whole series, but I'm not patient enough to sit through quietly that, you know, the low points of that melodrama. Ooh, Strike Revive. Yeah, I've always heard the strikes are good. I've heard multiple times that strikes are pretty good. I think I had a strike toy when I was a kid, and I don't know where the eye one is. Hold up, I need to find this real quick. Here it is. I think as a kid I had a Heavy Arms, a Sandrock, a Strike Gundam, we might have had all of the Gundams from Gundam Wing, I'm not sure. We definitely had a Strike Gundam, because I remember I remember we had a Gundam with the backpack. I don't remember the Strike Gundam itself, but we had the backpack, so we had to have had the Strike. That's this process of elimination. God, I feel like the Gundams in Gundam Seed are also like pretty damn toyetic, but I think that's more down to how the animation depicts the Gundams. Like, they depict them more glossy and plasticky. So I feel like that's not really that's more of an animation statement than an aesthetics of the actual mechs themselves. Ooh. High grade Destiny is great. Yeah, I've heard the mainline Gundams are pretty solid from that line. Though there's the Dreadnought that Shogmommy's, I think she's gonna build it soon, or I can't remember. I think it was on the poll, but people didn't vote enough for it. But she has the Dreadnought, and no, she is going to build the Dreadnought because she's like, I bought it. Then I found out that like it's one of the worst builds on Gunpla history, so I'm gonna build it to see how bad it is. I salute you. Also really enjoy the Rising Freedom and the Immortal Justice. Ooh. I do wonder if when they chose Freedom and Justice, if they're trying to appeal to an American audience with those names in Gundam, or if that's just a coincidence. Never had Gundams as a kid. Ooh, I had Transformers, God. Actually, Transformers, I think is Armada or Energon is why even though Thundercracker does not appear in those series, Starscream gets a blue skin in like Energon or whatever, and I had that toy, and so Thundercracker is my favorite Transformer because I had a Starscream that was blue. Not my favorite he's my favorite Decepticon. My favorite Transformer is Wheeljack because he has a shoulder cannon. He talks through his ears, so he's goofy as hell. He has a silly voice, and he made the Dinobots. He's the full package, chat. He's peak. Ooh. I wish the Destiny Spec 2 could be purchased without Zeus pack thing, so it would be cheaper. Yeah, that is a thing. What is it? I forget what it is, Zagak or whatever, like the Gundam in a Zagak, the Justice or whatever in a Zagak, I think you have to buy those as one thing. You can't just buy the Zagak or buy the Gundam, you have to buy it as one thing, so it's effectively the price of 2 high grades, because it is 2 high grades, and so it's just a pain in the ass if you just want one. But at the same time, those literally are one thing in like the context of where they're from, so it's a catch-22 with those kind of things, and it is pretty annoying. Ooh, she needs the Tristan. My god. She actually, I think the worst build she did last year was... Oh god, Zach might remember, but I think it was the God Gun. I don't know if it was the God Gundam or if it was the Red Astray, but like she hated both those kits and she built them like back to back. It was pretty bad. She did not have a good time with that one. It was the God Gundam high grade, mind you. Ooh. And she rolled the dice on getting a high grade in the, you know, early 100s, and she rolled Snake Eyes in that one, sadly. Megatron is the GOAT. Megatron has so many great interpretations. Sometimes you get more like emotional Megatron, like you get in Transformers 1. Sometimes you get more conniving Megatron, like you get in Transformers Animated. He has good range. Like, I love Optimus, but Optimus at the end of the day, he's the stolid, is that the right word? Just, you know, leader. He is the stone-faced, you know, like he can be passionate, but a lot of times, like, his archetype is, you know, he's just a cool dude who's just, you know, like, who speaks through actions and whatnot. Not to say he doesn't have monologues or anything like that, but like, Optimus is Optimus, but Megatron can come in so many different shapes and forms that it really is nice. Sometimes he can just be full-on crazy as hell. It's wonderful. Wheeljack is also a Lancia Stratos Turbo Rally. He do got that cool alt mode. He also has an alt mode that just makes, because he's literally a big nerd, and then he has a really cool car alt mode, because it's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. I think I just put that on wrong. Give me 1 second. I did. Okay. Ooh. I don't know what's completely wrong. Yeah, I gotta be more specific, because I say a lot of things, and I probably did say something wrong. I probably did say something backwards. The Destiny 2 spec was a Zeus pack in the $80. The Zagak is on its own? Oh, I thought, okay, maybe I was being told the wrong, maybe I misinterpreted it. Okay, I thought you had to get those two things together, but I guess you had, ooh. Yeah. Oh, no. What it was that you have to get them you're right. You have to get them separated, and there's no value pack of them together is the issue. That's what it was. Thank you. The problem was that you're right. The complaint I heard was the fact that they don't have a value pack, like the Penelope and the Z, which are two separate mechs. But the Penelope and the Z have a value pack where they're both together, and it's a little bit cheaper than buying them individually. You don't have that option for the Justice and Zagak, or at least that wasn't an option when I was talking with a friend. Maybe they've made it an option now, but it wasn't one when I was talking with that friend. So thank you for the correction. I love that Megatron started, I'm sorry. I know that doesn't mean Martin Luther King, but it's still fun. Megatron started as a Martin Luther King. I have a dream that I will rise from the fighting pits of Todd, and I will cause a revolution across Cybertron. I have a dream that Decepticons and Autobots will kill each other in the streets. I have a dream. Oh my god. Ooh. Actually, I do know that Martin Luther King Jr.'s name is actually not coincidentally, but it is directly based off of Martin Luther, because his father was converted or something to a Baptist church that was inspired by Martin Luther but wasn't Lutheran. And, listen, American Protestants are all over the place. Don't ask questions. Who was the monologue Megatron, or it depends. It depends on the version of him. The Megatron in Transformers 1 has a pretty good, has some good, monologues and dialogues. That movie just has some good shit in general. But Frieza, you just have to love, because Frieza will literally just start beating the shit out of you, and it's just like, whoa. There's 1,000 different, there's a lot of people who are way bigger threats than me at this tournament of power. Why are you coming at me? And he'll just look at you and go let's just blame racism and continue beating the shit out of you. Frieza is absolutely one of those characters who's just a hater and loving it. He's just in it for the hate. This absolute freak. Just, you gotta love it. You gotta just love it. He dies multiple times, gets brought back from like the brink of death and literal death itself multiple times, and he's still just like, God, I just need to kill those monkeys. I need to get them. It's just like, bro, it's not turning out. Like, you don't have to have a change of heart. You don't have to be a good person, but like, learn that like maybe just like, you're like your race can probably outlive them. You can probably just wait for them to die. In all honesty, do your own thing in your own corner. That no, you have to kill them yourself. It's okay, Frieza. There's a lot of, I really want to read the newest Transformers comic, because there are some panels that I've seen from that comic. There's some, usually I don't like to like say it like this because it sounds like it's just the visuals, but like what's happening in the panels are like some really good like character moments, it looks like, that look like they hit really hard. And I really want to check out the I really want to check out the like current running comic for Transformers. There's some shit that just looks like it hits hard. Ooh. So I've also always heard really good things about the IDW Megatron, because he has a whole character arc. He literally goes from like an antagonist to like I think a deuteragonist. Oh, we had a little bit of an interruption there in the signal. My heart skipped a beat. If not the protagonist. I don't know how that goes. I haven't checked it out. Ooh. I never got my hands on the IDW, sadly. I was actually on the subject of Cooler. I am fucking so pissed off that like they didn't canonize him. Like when they canonized Broly, I was like, this is a really good version of like what you're doing here. You know, like I really like what you did here. Now, can you do this with like, just do this with Cooler and just make it so that like he's just on the other side, like he's just conquering the other half of the universe. You could just easily do this. Just have him in a different galaxy. That's why we don't know him. And it's like, well, what about the Tournament of Power? Why wasn't he in the Tournament of Power? Simple, because you could just be like, because Frieza didn't want to tell anyone, because if Frieza was like, hey, I have a brother, then they'd be like, oh, screw you, we're not, like, you have a brother who's just as strong as you, screw you, we're just gonna get him instead of making like a deal with you to get you out of hell. Firstly, and secondly, just make it so that he, like, Frieza just hates him. Like, Frieza's just like, yeah, no, I hate this guy, he's a prick, you know? This guy's literally me, but even more of an a-hole. Like, I can't stand him. But I love how, I love how Cooler's design. I think Cooler is pretty cool. It's kind of sad that like he kind of just gets wrecked the moment Goku turns Super Saiyan, but that's just kind of how those movies work, sadly. Oop. But he has a real cool design. I'm sad that like they didn't figure out a way to like make a Cooler movie before like Toriyama like passed away and whatnot. And I don't think they ever were going to, even if he hadn't. But I like Cooler. He can do like interesting things if he ever had Cooler and Frieza in the same room. Ooh. Or just in the same story. I think I'm a little behind in chat because of that Cooler talk, though. I feel the new Transformers comic is all show, no substance. I haven't gotten too far in it. I've seen some things that I've again only seen like bits and pieces of it. So maybe it is just maybe if they don't build up to the scenes that have the payoffs, then it could be that way. Because it could just be looking like they have good payoffs, but if they didn't actually build up to them, then it is meaningless. I could see that happening. I hope that's not the case, but I haven't read it myself. Okay. James Robert. MTMTE. I'm not quite sure what that is, and I'm so behind in chat that I'm gonna have to look that up later. So, but that's PQSay. Character moments. Character moments, and it's this gore. I have seen a lot of gore from the new Transformers cartoon. sorry, not comic, like Transformers gore, like it, even though it's like robots, it still feels very visceral, which is impressive, but also, yeah, that could be concerning. It could just end up being a little edgy. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. I'm optimistic though. I'm always optimistic whenever I approach a story, even when I've been critical to the story, like GQ. I've said, like, you know, there's some things I've been a little skeptical towards looking at it, but I'm optimistic when I do get to see it. Is the code Captain Last Light? Yeah, I heard that I've heard some statements that IDW falls off a little, the comic falls off a little. I have heard that. Ooh, but I've heard it at least has a good start, and I don't know how bad it falls off, if it just goes from peak to okay, because that can feel like it's gotten bad, but that just means it would, like, that just, going from peak to okay isn't ideal, but it's not, you know, the worst thing in the world, but sometimes, you know, things that even start out as peak can still, you know, go to dog shit, so. Ooh. I also know that it starts out good. Hiromi and Roki, I need to mute that Discord. Is I get notified every time anyone posts on that Discord. I need to really mute that. Yeah, the 2019 Transformers was meh, and IDW trying to mix Transformers with other franchises went pretty bad. Aww. Yeah. That's disappointing to hear in general. I absolutely hate you hate the MTE because of what they did to Star Saber. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Sadly, I don't have context for that, and to ask for it would be spoilers, but that is always something. If in a continuity, even if a story's good, like if it screws up your one character, it can be hard to be like, it can be hard to accept it. But even then, if it's a bad thing and it screws up your one good character, it just becomes free range at that point, though. And oh my god, this is a whole thing. Star Saber is an evil Knight Templar. I enjoyed that. Ooh. Isn't the Star Saber like a... No, wait, that's something else. I thought that was like what the Primes use for like their main weapon. Is the Star Saber what that was called? I can't really remember for the life of me. 8 and 9. These parts are symmetrical, so I feel like this is just going to determine which side is which. Or... No, actually no, these are just going on either side, never mind. Okay. This is still... Okay, we need to start separating these pieces, though. Let me do that real quick. There we go. Let's see here. Nah, do the, tarnishing is... I wouldn't know any context for this, so you guys... You guys can have an argument if you want, but don't get too serious about it, is all I'm gonna say. He was too boring in Victory. Ooh. I don't have any context for this shit. Just as our had more personality. I don't have any The DJD was the best part of MTT. Ooh. Let's see here. G2 was worse than worse with gore. Ooh. Oh, I think I'm cutting off a piece that I don't need to cut off. Let's not preemptively cut off pieces. I know some people love the new DWJ Transformers comics because he loves wrestling, and at least DWJ Transformers comics because he loves wrestling, and okay, well now that's gonna be the emoji thing got in there, and has at least a wrestling move in each. What? Like, people just, like, suplexing? Somebody's just doing, like, you know, Hulk Hogan's, like, when he just falls on somebody ass first. Hulk Hogan. Yeah, it was a mistake, you know, having that being my finisher move. Like, my spinal cord is just destroyed. Hogan, you know you could have picked, like, anything else to be your finisher move, not just falling directly on your tailbone. Yeah, but it looked good. No, it didn't. It never looked good. Your finisher is literally you just falling on somebody. It never looked good. Like, you picked a bad finisher and it's crippled you for the rest of your life, bro. Oh god, somebody doing the Walls of Jericho and like the Boston Crab, sorry, I don't know, whichever one you prefer. And one, somebody doing RKO and another. That is... It depends how it's done. Depending on how it's done, that could be peak, I'll say. It could either be really cringe or really peak. The American cartoons called one of the weapons the Star Saber. Ah, it was the Star Saber. In Transformers Prime, they get the Star Saber as like a relic from Cybertron, and Optimus Prime literally can cut mountains in half with it. It's kind of like, it's a bit OC character Do Not Steal, but at the same time, it's just like, it's kind of played off just like Megatron's just like, this is bullshit. Like, you can't just have that now. Like, that's bullshit. You can't just pull that out of nowhere. And because you're a Prime, you're the only one who gets to use it to its full potential. This is bullshit. I think he literally makes like a Dark Star Saber out of like a Dark Energon or something out of retaliation. In the Unicorn trilogy, but Star Saber was the lead character in the Transformers Victory. Okay. Ooh. And apparently it sounds like it was also in the, wait, was the Unicorn trilogy? Yeah, no. Unicorn trilogy was like Energon and whatnot, so I guess they took it from that. Ooh. Was he a better... It depends on the continuity for Prime. Some Optimuses actually aren't that good of leaders when you think about it. I will admit. Ooh. Actually, one of my favorite Primes is probably the animated Prime, because we get to see him become a good leader. We get to see him struggle with self-doubt and, you know, his mistakes of his past and having to, like, move past those. It's pretty good. Pretty well done. Prime and, sorry. Not Prime, animated in general. If I said Prime earlier, I meant animated with the young Prime. Animated in general is pretty good Transformers. They were willing to, you know, kind of make something a little different than the past, and I think it works out pretty well. Ooh, and even though it got canceled, it did have a point that was fair to end on, because even though there are still some loose ends, they tied up most of their loose ends by the unintended series finale. So I think it worked out okay overall. There's a lot of worse things. They didn't leave on a cliffhanger is the thing. There's a lot of worse endings that could have happened that we could have gotten in that series. Ooh. And it did not end in a bad place. It did not end with, like, a cliffhanger where the bad guys win or something, which is pretty... It wasn't like Alf, which literally... I know Alf is a weird comparison, but Alf literally ends with the main character being caught by the government to be experimented on and dissected. That was a bit of a weird ending. Hey, here's our comedy show. We didn't get renewed for a new season. Alf dies. That was a bit of an oopsie. They could have had an ending. They're like, oh yeah, he's gonna return to his people. No, he gets captured by the government. I feel like Transformers might not always start out as Super Robot, but it does commonly end up in Super Robot. Because you have, you never get like, well, no, you know, you do. I was gonna say, you don't get like the 40-meter tall robot. No, you get like 100-meter tall robots. You get planet-sized robots. What the hell am I talking about? You get big-ass robots. But it does feel like, you know, again with Prime, you get the Star Saber where things are getting cut in half. It feels like it starts out as just like, here's some transforming robots that shoot laser guns at one another, and it just eventually escalates in like all Transformers media. It might not start out super robot, but it does sure as hell feel like it will inevitably get there if you just wait long enough. You got, oh my god, even in Transformers Animated, you know, you got some crazy magic shit happening with the Allspark at a certain point. You got robot ninjas. It just gets, all Transformers media gets insane, and the question is simply, does it pace itself well enough that when it gets to the point where it's just off the rails insanity, that you're okay with that? That's really the question. Does it build up to the insanity, or does it just drop you in it all at once? Because there's a correct answer on how you do this. You gotta build up to it, even if you're a sequel to a series that did go insane off the rails. Well, that was the first series. We're back to ground level now. We have to build back up to that insanity. We need slice of life boring shit, bro. So that way, when literally the Earth turns into Unicron, transforms and kills everyone on the surface, and then they have to do some time travel shit to get I don't think this has actually happened, but there's been a lot of times when Unicron has been Earth itself. But like, they have to do some time travel to make Unicron go back to sleep and resurrect everyone on Earth. You're gonna just accept it like, of course that's what happens, you know? They're like, oh, they were having drag races, you know, with normal humans in like episode 2. Now they're doing this. You just gotta build up to it, bro. It's all about increments. Rodimus did that learning leader thing first. He had to learn, man. And I do know, I haven't seen the whole original series, but I know there's an episode where like Optimus returns as a zombie, and he's like, Optimus, you become leader again. And it's just like, nah, it's your responsibility. And it's like that point of that episode is like, nah, it's your responsibility now. You know, you have to hold on to it. You can't forsake the responsibility once it's given to you. Ooh, God, in Transformers Prime, they did Rodimus dirty. They gave him such a horrific death. He like appears as a cameo, and it's like, oh cool, Rodimus, and then they literally have like a, what is it, like space rust or whatever it's called, the rust plague, I think is what it is. They literally infect him with the rust plague, and he turns to dust in like 5 seconds. It is a horrific death, and it's just like, could you have like maybe not done this to Rodimus, bro? Like, I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of Rodimus because they like take out their frustration on like Optimus dying on him. I mean, it is kind of partially his fault, the Optimus dies, but at the same time, I'm so convinced Optimus, you know, ends his own life because he's just like, I can't put up with it anymore. He takes out his own heart and gives it away. Man could have totally been repaired. He just didn't want to be. Optimus ended himself. That's my headcanon. He was just like, I'm done with this shit. I've been doing this shit for like 5 million years. Nah, I'm done. I'm done. Here's my heart, bro. You take it. Well, combiners do feel... Combiners are super robot as hell. Ooh. Ooh. Combiners just get crazy, man. Oh my god, the original Insecticons, how they could just reproduce. Like, they could just... I think they could... I don't remember if they had to eat anything specifically, but, like, they could just, like, literally reproduce. They could just clone themselves and just have, like, millions of, like, Insecticons by the end of the episode. And it kind of just keeps raising the question of just, like, what keeps happening to, like, all these Insecticons? Because they keep, like, just making hundreds of Insecticons, and then they just keep disappearing. Like, what's happening there? Do they just starve? How do they starve? What's going on with this? Are the Insecticons we see at the beginning of the series the Insecticons we see at the end of the series? I mean, before the movie where, like, the Insecticons almost all die. Don't focus on that. Don't worry about it. Ooh. But most Transformers fans don't accept that fact. They don't accept the fact that Transformers just gets off the frickin' rail. You gotta accept that, man. It gets every Transformer, I don't know if I can think of a piece of Transformers media that does not go off the rails, and you just have to accept it because that's just what happens. Ooh. Oh, or they hate the JP series super hard. That's weird. Like, some of the JP series can be silly, but that's usually like the comics and whatnot. But also they're like literally meant for a different audience. They're not meant for, they're meant for like a different audience. They're meant to like have different humor in it and whatnot. You know, that's a bit weird. That's just being, that's That's weird to hate like all the Japanese versions. Ooh. But also, there's a bit of different like lore and history between the two sides of the ocean. Because there's a lot of like Transformers I don't want to say kept alive, but a lot of Transformers is like, you know, supported by just like silly comics and whatnot with Transformers in it. Just kind of like fun, less serious fanfare in it. While a lot of Transformers in the West at least loves to go as hard as possible. Ooh. God, I don't know if there's it. You don't have those cute little Moe comics in the Moe comics in the West. Ooh. I remember Headmasters where Ultra Magnus gets killed by a six-shot and gets a Christmas funeral. Whoa! Oh, a Christian. I thought you said Christmas. I was like, why would he get a Christian? What the? Wait. How the hell does Ultra Magnus die? I saw the movie. Ultra Magnus literally gets blown up in the movie and they just put him back together. It's the biggest crock of shit I've ever seen. Earlier in the film, Optimus Prime gets shot in the stomach. I'm dead. Here's my heart. Ultra Magnus, we literally see his head get thrown at the screen. Put him back together. He's fine. Don't worry about it. We're on a junk world planet. That's how this works. I don't think that's how this works. Don't worry about it, bro. Ratchet couldn't fix him up, but just call in Weird Al Yankovic. He'll get him up and running right quick. It's fine, dude. Don't worry about it. Omnis did give the leader role to Hot Rod. He did give it to him. Ooh. Yeah, that final fight, that entire like opening fight sequence in the original Transformers movie does go hard. There are people always talk about the Akira slide, you know, like when Akira in the movie, and Akira when like the Akira slide on the bike of, you know, the bike, you know, coming into screen and like making the trails or whatever. Like people always talk about that, like the grinding bike or whatever. I don't think people talk enough about like the Optimus Prime mid-air shooting his gun, like when he transforms out of his truck mode, jumps in the air, and is firing his gun downwards with like one knee raised. People don't talk about how influential that scene is, because like that animation and that like shot, you can see in so many things from like both professional and independent like creators. And it's a really influential shot because it goes so damn hard. It goes so hard, the Optimus pose. It slaps. Just mid-air shooting a gun. It slaps to all hell, man. Ooh, guy gave him the DF version of the joint. Headmasters also had a Blaster and a Soundwave fight until they blow each other. Phrasing. I thought I didn't read up. You just ended with blow each other, and then they are brought back so they can continue the fight, but with different colors. Phrasing, my friend. Phrasing. Oh my god. Did I this a few months ago? You did this a few months ago? Ooh. It seems like it feels like I'm tardy to the party compared to everyone else I'm building this, but then again, it's been in hobby lobbies and whatnot 4 months, so I'm not surprised other people have gotten to it way before me. Ooh, I got this like, I think early last year, for God's sake. So actually, I got it before it was in Hobby Lobby, now that I remember it. I've had this for a while, and I just remembered I did get it on sale. Holy shit, I might have gotten it 2 years ago. Never mind. I've been sitting on this one for a long time. I was like, yeah, I got it during my local hobby store's Black Friday, and then I remembered that was like 2 years ago at least, if not 3 years ago. I have been sitting on this build for a very, very long time. Holy shit. Because I was like, yeah, because I paid like $30-something for it, but I didn't get it from Hobby Lobby. I just remembered. because it was on a Black Friday sale. Oh my god. Holy shit. That's some deep lore we just uncovered. Oh my god. What's a backlog if you don't have a build or two you've had in there for like 3 years, and you know you just haven't touched because you know you're saving it for something special, but then that something special never comes and you should just build it, but then you're like, no, I wanna be ready to build it, and then you're never ready to. What's a backlog without one of those, chat? It's not a, yeah. I have found this build is a little more forgiving than other high grades. Ooh, but you do have to pay a lot of attention to it. And we are trying to pay attention while, you know, still yapping about. Yeah, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it was originally in, like, Gundam as well. Like, if the pose had been done before, but it's in Transformers the movie that the poses is so well known, and it's usually Transformers the movie that it's specifically referencing. There's that scene when Optimus Prime just comes into Autobot City, transforms, his trailer comes out of nowhere, and he just starts driving through the Decepticons. He just starts hitting them. Like, there's a bunch of Insecticons. He literally is rolling over and cracking skulls as his truck mode. He transforms, like he starts transforming, his arms come out, he just jumps in the air, strikes that pose. It's so damn clean. It looks so damn cool. I can imagine like kids in the 80s were just like, oh, frothing at the mouth for that scene. And then like 5 minutes later, he's dead. The scene is actually based off the OG Gundam. That's fucking, I'm not surprised by that at all. I'm not surprised at all if it's actually a reference of a reference, because so many things work like that. Ooh. Let's see here. The Zaku Sword Slash was from the first episode. Ooh. Zaku Sword Slash? No, not. Wait. I guess that's similar. So usually when I think of the Zaku Sword Slash, I'm thinking of like the pose afterwards where he lands and the Zaku explodes behind him. But yeah, I suppose like in it, I don't think there's as much focus put on it like mid-strike as that. Ooh. Then again, also in the West, because in the West, Gundam was actually not as well known as Transformers for obvious reasons. But in the West, it's far more the Transformers influence, but it would not surprise me again, being derivative of something else. Okay, we need this. There's a lot of things that we think, because something popularizing something is not always the same thing as something being the origin point of something. Found this on Hobby Lobby during the road trip. It was onset E. It's always good when you when your road trips line up with the Hobby Lobby sale weeks. Oh god, I think I got my I can't remember if I got my Neo Zeong on when I went to Tennessee. Not Neo Zeong. I do not have a Neo Zeong. I have a real grade Zeong that is also. That one's been in there for that one's been under my bed for 2 years. We should probably build that. Don't know when. Our schedule is kind of filled up for like what we're building for the next few weeks. So I'm not quite sure when the hell we'd build the Neo, not the Neo, the real grade Zeong. But I'd love to build that on stream sometime. Ooh. Bought the shit ton of Gunpla for Christmas, and it was like, when it's a 40% off sale. Nice. I do like how Hobby Lobby is. It's only been like a few years, but they've really upped their Gunpla selection. I remember it's only like 4 or 5 years ago that they had like maybe like 4 at most Gunpla at like even big stores, but now like it feels like an entire section of like their model not alley, aisle of their model aisle is just Gunpla now. It's really clean. It's really nice. I need to focus on this real quick. I need to make sure that I'm getting this piece on right, so let me do that. Okay. Who, built most of them the same day. Holy shit. I mean, I've built models at like one time. Actually, off stream, if I build high grades, I actually typically build them together because I off stream can build high grades a hell of a lot faster than I do on stream because I'm just focusing on the build. One moment. But usually, like, I'll pick 2 builds and build them together. So, like, I built the Zaku Sniper and the Jim 2 Sniper together, like, at the same time, and it still only took me, like, even with them together, like, 3 hours. It's just real clean. Just on stream, I'm more concerned with the yapping, with the, you know, interacting with you guys. Let me, put it this way. The line, "There's nothing new under the sun," is several thousand, yeah. Everything inspired by something else. You look at a griffin and you're like, wow, griffins are really cool, but griffins are just like, you know, some guy was like, what if we had like a bird? Let's say, what if we had a lion, but we like put a bird's head on it? That was innovative for its time, bro. You do that today, people are gonna call you a hack. Oh. Or, you know, unless you do it for your entire, like, wildlife of your series, then people are gonna be like, this is endearing, like in Avatar: The Last Airbender. What's that? All the animals are like a fusion of 2 other animals? That's really endearing. Everything's a chimera? That's pretty cool, actually. Ooh, though even in Avatar, that's inspired by, like, again, Japanese anime, where Japanese anime often does that, where they'll, like, just name things. Things won't actually be the fusion of 2 different animals, but they'll just be named like the fusion of 2 different animals. Because isn't like in Nausicaa Valley of the Wind, like the little pet she has is like called like a fox squirrel or something. It doesn't really look like it's not like a literal fox squirrel, but like you can see like why you'd call it. It's like small, it's like arboreal, and it looks like a fox. Call it a fox squirrel or whatever. I don't think it's actually a fox squirrel, but it's some kind of fusion name like that is the point. You know, but even that is like, you know, things have been done before. It's a historical fact. It's in the history books. It's right here. It's right here. Let's see here. And we need to put this on. And you know, everything's fine. That's just literally a slip of the thumbs. Oh! Okay, well, there's a click on that one, but not on the other one, so I'm concerned about that. Then we need to... This, and then this one goes here. Oh, this is... Wait. No, I'm not going to make any assumptions on how this is... What's going on in this build. Reminds you of the OG Gundam mechs designed like a... designer did a frame of the 86 movie. Didn't was it in Zeta Gundam or I think it was Zeta Gundam that popularized the concept in mecha of inner frames. It's not the thing that invented inner frames, but like the guy who worked, I think the guy who's credited for having invented inner frames worked on, what the hell is going on here? Worked on Zeta Gundam, and he implemented inner frames in Zeta Gundam, and that really helped the concept take off in other places as well. It's already a thing, I think. Don't quote me on that, but it wasn't like as big. Ooh. But inner frames is just like such an obvious concept in mecha design. Ooh. And it just works so well. And actually, I really love how Iron Blood and Orphans really took the concept of inner frames and like cranked it up to 11, because you'll have not only Gundams but other mobile suits that just look nothing like their inner frames, because it's like, yeah, it's armor on top. You're gonna want to have good armor, good efficient armor, and maybe that will make it look a little different. It's fine, don't worry about it. Oh, that's a mistake. That's a horrible mistake. You get the fuck out of there. You do not go in there. We almost made a horrible, horrible, horrible polycap mistake. Not the first time we would have done something like that. But one of the reasons I have a deep and abiding... I don't actually hate polycaps, but one of the things I would say annoys me about polycaps is the fact that there's so often times where steps in instructions are like, use these identical polycaps, or at least polycaps that look identical in the instructions, and then you make a horrible mistake and you're just like, oh my god. That is something that annoys the hell out of me about polycaps. I'm not a polycap hater. I understand that they were the best thing for their time, but that doesn't stop their flaws from shining through. Also sent you the pose of the Gundam Prime scene was based on. Okay. Thank you. See here. And let's throw that there. Thank you. I'll definitely check that, because I always check Twitter, sorry, after stream to pretty much just say, either say stream is done, say thank you. If I timestamp the video, to say timestamps are up. That's always... So I always see something happening on Twitter. Then... Oh, this isn't... Okay. So, actually, we don't put that on yet. What we do is we take this... Put this here. And then, oh my god, okay, so I'm gonna get another C out. We're actually gonna have to get 2 C's out, so we're just gonna cut these now. 1, 2, then we're gonna have to get the thigh armor out, which is, yeah, it's right here. What time are we at? Only about at 2 hours. Ooh. The thing is, I know with everything else is gonna take probably another 2 hours, and I don't want to rush the size comparison. I want to take time doing the size comparison, so we're probably still going to cut it off after we're done with the legs. We're probably not gonna like go, oh hey, we have more time to do more things. We're probably gonna it's probably still gonna... Let's make sure we get the right leg on the right one. I don't know which one goes where, so we're gonna make sure. So this is 4, and 4 goes with 6. That's how we're gonna make sure we do this correctly. Okay. But I do want to do, because this guy's so big, I want to do plenty of size comparisons and just talk about the build as a whole. Because there's plenty to say already, and I'm already really happy with this build. It's more advanced. It's a bit more of an advanced build. But for its age, it's aged pretty well, which is always something you want to see. You always want to be like, this build, still good in the modern context. Ooh. They definitely cooked with this build. You have escaped the bottom. Oh my goodness. Congratulations. You're like Darth Maul, man. Only you weren't cut in half and then somehow survived that shit. That is the weirdest shit in Star Wars, when they were like, oh hey, we one time made like an Elseworld comic that, you know, wasn't canon, where Darth Maul survived getting cut in half and then came back to get revenge on Obi-Wan. Yeah, let's just make that canon, actually. So it's like, but how did he survive? Like, the Elseworld thing is just like, it's not canon, so who cares how he survived? It's like, well, he got really pissed, and that's how he survived. Excuse you? Yeah, he just used the dark side. He was really angry. He was really angry about it. And he's a Zabrak, so like, they can survive something like that. What's a Zabrak again? It's technically a human with horns. They're pretty much abhumans like in 40K. But with like horn, and like what makes them different from normal humans is that they have horns, and like I don't remember if they have an extra heart or if they have like an extra liver. They have some kind of extra organ. You'd think it'd be a heart, but this is Star Wars. the creator might have just been a little bit silly and gone like they have an extra. They could have just gone like they have an extra spleen. I don't remember. But it is just funny. He was just really angry, so he survived. Well, why don't other like dark side users survive by getting really angry? Also Zabraks can just survive stuff like that. Well, why didn't you lead with that? Also, how the fuck does a Zabrak survive getting cut in half? Oh god. When did I start stream? Not too. I started stream. Let's see here. It should have been just like 2 hours ago. At I think 9 o'clock. Cause yeah, 9 o'clock. Cause I was watching Shog Mommy's stream. Ooh, I was watching Shog Mommy's stream because she was doing a showcase of Gunpla. So I was really interested in that, and I kind of got distracted and kept watching it instead of starting my own stream. Because I'm a responsible streamer, don't you know? I am a responsible streamer, chat. Don't let the other girls tell you otherwise. Have I made a horrid mistake? I think I did. Hold on. Hold on, wait a minute. It's like a 50-50 shot. I've made a horrible. Yeah, this does not go here. I don't even think you go here. You go here, but I've made a horrible mistake. We'll address it in a minute. Use scraps to rebuild. Oh god. Yeah, how he just like had like spider legs that he powered through the force or whatever, and it's just like holy shit, like that's really powerful force abilities. So like Darth Vader's really powerful in like kinetic force abilities? No. But he's like literally has like spider legs that he's controlling. No. He is a combatant lightsaber duelist that focuses on like battle meditation, active battle meditation. He is not a, you know, he's not a telekinesis force user, but he has spider legs. Don't worry about it. Just you're focusing on the wrong things. Fucking I love some parts of the Clone Wars, but some parts of the Clone Wars are very much just got super damn silly. And I'm just doing like a really bad job at this. Give me a minute. This goes like this, then this, and connect to it like this. But I'm not lining it up properly. There we go. I think it's lined up. Okay, it's lined up now. I need to focus on this for a half second, chat. Then you can go like this. If I fucking put this on wrong to begin with, that's gonna fucking infuriate me. And you can go on like this. And then you can just go on like this. You can just trade the pieces, it's fine, don't worry about it. But before we do that, we have to plug this in. This is more confusing than the arms, actually. And there's a piece here that just I do not have on here. Give me a minute. What's the best order to watch Star Wars? No matter what, you watch the original trilogy because it's peak. Then if you like it and you're okay with something that's not as peak but is okay, if you're okay with going from like, you know, like A New Hope, which is like a solid 8 out of 10, you know, Empire Strikes Back, that almost perfect 9 out of 10. Then you get like, you know, Return of the Jedi, which is like the most satisfying film because it's, you know, has all the climaxes in it, but it's a little weird, so you get, you know, you get a 7 out of 10, but it's still really satisfying. You get Palpatine being evil as hell, you know, you get all that shit. If you're okay with going from that to just like a 4 out of 10 trilogy, like below average, and being below average before modern cinema, then you watch the prequel trilogy. There's some good stuff in it. There's a lot of bad stuff in it, but you know what? If you really enjoyed the first go around, you'll be like, this is still okay. Not the best, but it's still okay. And then you go to the sequel trilogy and you just don't watch it. You don't touch that shit. You don't touch. No, we don't. The only movie I've ever wanted to walk out of the theater while watching was the was The Last Jedi. That's the only movie I've ever been like, I need to walk out of the theater, and the only reason I didn't is because I had family in the theater with me. That's the only movie I've ever actually considered walking out of the theater for. Because I love movies, and I was fed up with that within the first 15 minutes, and I died inside watching that movie. I love Star Wars. I died inside watching that film. But then again, you probably wouldn't have as much of an emotional reaction to, you know, the complete nonsensical bullshit of the sequel trilogy as I would. Fuck me, I've gone on very long rants about the sequel, about just The Last Jedi alone. That movie pisses me off. Ooh. Let's see here. I like the prequels. It's just that if you take a step back, they do got a lot of problems. I love the prequels as a Star Wars fan, but I do have to admit there's some problems in them, like Natalie Portman's acting. People always go after Christian Haydenson or whatever his name is. I feel like I'm getting the name wrong for some reason. But Natalie Portman is literally a fucking wooden plank through like almost all of those films. It is like Christian Haydenson literally going like, I slaughtered them like animals. Oh, Annie. What do you mean, oh, Annie? Who fuck? He just told you he committed like genocide on a tribe of aliens, and you're like, oh, that's so bad. How many Xannies are you on, woman? How deep are you in tranquilizers? Holy shit. Oh god. Yeah. Oh god. Let's see here. I missed the beginning because you were waiting for 10. We start stream when it's most convenient, and I don't typically start 10 is supposed to be like the latest I start, not 8 is supposed to be the earliest I start, and I try to give myself a fair window because for me it creates a better flow, because sometimes if I get ready at 8 o'clock and I have to wait 2 hours, I kind of end up destroying myself in those 2 hours, like anticipating everything. So that just ain't it, Chief. Oh no, we did do this correctly. Okay, so that doesn't work. So like I pretty much start when it is most conducive to my mental state, and I give myself like a 2-hour window for that start to happen. Also, sometimes just technical problems happen, so it's good to have a buffer to be like, if you have to restart stream or you have to do a lot more prep. That's just me though. I know a lot of other people, they just have a specific start time. That's just not me. You fell asleep in A New Hope? I cannot help you with that. We did a watch along with A New Hope. It was the first watch along I think we ever did on this channel, and it was peak. Ooh, I loved doing the watch along with chat. I got to share the fact that we got to remember the fact that in A New Hope they keep calling Princess Leia Princess Leia, and like half the cast have English accents because they were filming in England. So it says like you just have like, you know, the main characters with their American accents, and it says like Princess Leia, and it's just like like, why you say it like that, bro? Hold up, did I fuck this up? You never want to be asking that question, but this piece isn't fucking going on properly, and I don't want to force it, so I don't know what's happening. Might rewatch by chronological order. It's not a problem watching it in chronological order. Actually, one of my favorite things about... People always talk about how, like, George Lucas, like, you know, was completely detached while making it. When, like, one of the most famous clips of George Lucas about the prequel trilogy is when he watches the original edit for episode 1. He goes, yeah, we probably went a little far in a few places. He literally is self-aware and is like, yeah, we kind of... We messed up with this one. And, like, episode 1 is literally a salvaged movie because George Lucas realized... Yeah, we were excessive here. Then you have, then you have, Attack of the Clones, which is, like, the low point for the trilogy. like on a meta level, creatively speaking. But then Lucas listened to criticism and he redirected the film for the last installment, and Revenge of the Sith is easily the best one. It still has flaws, but you can really tell that he actually did like listen to, you know, what the issues were of the first two films, and it really is a course correction for the trilogy, and it does a lot to salvage the trilogy in its worst aspects. And people just don't really give enough credit for that, because they want to keep this, you know, idea that like, no, Lucas was detached and he didn't listen to anyone, and you know, he didn't care what anyone had to say, and he just made these awful films. It's like, no, you just want to be haters. Stop it. Stop being unreasonable. Like, he made mistakes, but like literally all the people who, also there's a thing with like, oh, he wouldn't accept help from people, you know, who wanted, like, he wouldn't accept help from people making the film. No, literally all the people who helped him make the original trilogy either were retired, busy, or literally freaking dead. Okay, John Millis, I think his name is, the guy who directed Red Dawn, was a key figure in correcting the script for A New Hope. He did a lot of work in improving the script for A New Hope, and like and just consulting with Lucas on writing. He was freaking dead, if I remember. Like like a lot of the people who helped Lucas the first time around just weren't able to help Lucas, so weren't able to like really tell him, yeah, you're going a little far here. There was nobody there to go, hey, Starkiller, kind of an edgy name. Skywalker, inspirational. That's good. Keep going, George. Ooh. Okay, okay. The only thing that unites Star Wars fans is no one likes nobody used to like the prequels. Partially because people just overreacted to them, and there are problems, but like, it's just also like literally people made their careers off of being like, the prequels are irredeemably shit, and it's like, I love the prequels. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, you meant the sequel. It was, prequels, again, I never have a problem when people say like the prequels have issues. Of course they do. But people who are just like, they're irredeemably shit, it's like, oh, I feel like you're a little detached there and you're kind of just on the hate train. Also, yeah, but a lot of times I just use kind of barometers of like, what do people criticize in the prequels? Because a lot of times you can tell if somebody actually like paid attention to the prequels, and if their like criticisms have any weight by just what they say. And like, again, as I said earlier, do they like call out Hayden Christensen and just go like, he's a bad actor? Or do they actually point out the fact that, like, you know, Natalie Portman in some scenes just isn't freaking acting at all? Because I love the fucking prequels, but holy shit, there are points in those films where Natalie Portman just doesn't give a fuck. Oh my god. God damn it, things keep falling behind the desk. Nothing important, but there's like little things. Unrelated, but the Pirates trilogy did not need any more movies. The Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, is peak. The other two is very much like, you can tell it's kind of like, you know, trilogy made after the fact, so to speak, but they still pull out pretty well. They still pull out pretty well in consideration. They don't collapse under their own weight. And my god, I will always love the third movie, if nothing else, for the scene where Barbossa goes, you have to talk to her like you would a lover. Calypso! He knows how to talk to ladies, chat. I fucking love Barbossa's so good. How Jack Sparrow plays the part of an idiot, but if you pay attention to him, he's always thinking, he's always planning, and his character's actually pretty damn intelligent. Which is something they don't understand in like the later movies when they changed directors and writers. They were like, no, he's just an idiot who fumbles his way to success. No, he's actually constantly planning. Like when he's dueling Barbossa, he takes a coin from, I think I messed this up, I did. He takes a coin from the chest that like the cursed coin, he takes one of the cursed coins to turn himself into an undead, because he understands, oh hey, I can't beat Barbossa because he's undead. So, like, if I'm going to die anyways in this duel, let's just skip to the part where I'm an undead. is effectively what he does. So you have the scene where Sparrow gets stabbed through, and you're like, oh no, he's dead. And then he just walks into the moonlight, and he's just also a corpse, and he's just like, yeah, I took a coin, dumbass. It's just like, yeah, so we can just duel forever now. Let's do this. Zeta Gundam was like that. Double Zeta was the course correction to make Gundam more like the, yeah. Zeta Gundam is like, it understood that Gundam is dark, but it forgot that there's still moments of levity, and Zeta Gundam was the, okay, we need to like, maybe get like really light on like this stuff again before we go into Char's counterattack where we get pretty dark again. Gundam swings back and forth like that, at least in the UC up until counterattack. It kind of has a bit of a it has a bit of a mood bipolar disorder, but we love it for that. Because you can get some moments that are genuinely like gripping and some moments that are genuinely just break out laughter inducing in the original series because of it. Well, Zeta's good. Zeta's good. They kind of just they kind of have a bit of an ass pull in the finale. I'll always say this, where it's just like it just turns into a super robot anime out of nowhere, and you might be like, oh, there's super robot shit in like Gundam anyways, you know, like for its day it was real robot, but you know, with the new type shit it was like already a bit super robot-y. Yeah, no, shit gets crazy in the fucking finale of Zeta Gundam, and characters start dying that have no business dying, and you know, I got pretty upset, but then, you know, they pull it off by having one of the greatest kills in all of Gundam against the antagonist, and it's just like, well, I'm not happy you killed like all the characters I liked, but that was a pretty good finale, how they got rid of the Prince from Jupiter. Literally, I'm not gonna say how it happened, but the dude has one of the best deaths in all of Gundam. It's all over the place, man. Okay, I'm gonna get through these to catch back up as quick as I can. Okay, should finish Gundam. Don't know why I can't finish 50 episodes. It's just sometimes, you know, I fall off of Gundam series all the time, even when I love them, so it takes me forever. Don't feel too guilty about that. Prequels are overhated, but decent film. Sequel, yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, you could like at worst say they're like 4 out of 10s, which is just a little bit below average, but that doesn't make them bad. That just makes them a little bit below average. Overhated decent films. Yeah, they're just corpo slop, the sequels. They're corpo slop, or they're like Rian Johnson was like, we need to be deconstructive, and it's like, do you even know what that word means? No, shut up. Okay. Prequels, funny thing, because I was able to watch 200 episodes in a month before. You might have had a lot more time. You might have just, you know, had less distractions, though, is the thing. Ooh. You know, it's just, life is like that, man. Just, it comes and it goes. Sometimes you have moments where you can just bust through something real quick. Sometimes it just takes a while. Funny things, oh, sorry. Light work, don't. Yeah, I ain't gonna spoil it. That's why I did not say how. I didn't say how the, like, he's the antagonist, so you know he's gonna die, but like his death, pretty peak. It's pretty peak, and I didn't say who dies in the finale, but it's a Gundam series, so you already knew like half the cast dies. You know, this isn't Double Zeta Gundam where everyone gets to live happily ever after. Cause fuck you. Just kidding. Zeta Gundam is the one Gundam series that gets a happy ending, because we need that one happy ending before everything goes back to shit. Love Double Zeta. And not everyone makes it out clean in Double Zeta. It's just that compared to an average Gundam series, you know, having, you know, a handful of people dies, you know, not like, say, Iron-Blooded Orphans, where it's just literally everyone dies. Oh god, that's a prairie for Unicorn too late. Unicorn and the narrative is just on hyper Oh my god. One moment, I need to get the, okay, D. We need D, which are these ones. Yeah, and here Victory is like a Tomino at his most, just like maniacal from what I hear, which makes people pretty split on it. Evangelion was supposed to be more lighthearted and super robot, but Anno changed it for the studio. I know Anno changed it because he was like literally depressed at the time. Well, I don't know if this is the case. I've always heard that he was depressed at the time, and he just was like, he just decided to take it into a way darker direction because of that. He was just like, I'm not feeling happy, so I want nobody else to feel happy. Which, you know, you do you, Anno. You do, Anno. I don't know why I was saying Anno. Anno. Hideki Anno. Ooh. You do you, buddy. I can feel that. You know, what is it? Blade Runner literally... a lot of Blade Runner's like strength comes from the fact that Ridley Scott at the time was struggling with the fact that his brother died like literally that year. Ooh, and he was getting some real heavy existential stuff. Let's see here. Oh, did we not cut out the other one? We did cut it out. Oh crap, where is it? There it is. Okay. Zeta really is this that dark? It's not like the darkest Gundam. There are way darker Gundams. Don't get me wrong. It's just the fact that like I'll never forgive it for killing my favorite character. I'm not gonna say who it is, but the finale killed my favorite character, and I will never forgive that shit because their death was bullshit. Oh god, because you haven't seen Zeta Gundam, I'm not gonna say who it was, but one character dies in the end of Zeta Gundam, and it is absolute bullshit. It is the most bullshit thing I've ever seen in Gundam. Hideki Anno, sorry, not Hideki Anno, we were talking about Hideki Anno. Tomino killed that character just to get his quota, but he was like, their numbers are too low, I need this character to die. I will never forgive him for that shit. I will be petty until the day I die. That shit was not cool, bro. Victory is a... Well, I was about to say something that would actually be a spoiler about, like, about just what happens to Camille at the end of the series. That would be a spoiler, so I'm not going to say that. Unicorn had the worst character ever. Really? Usually I heard that Narratives has the worst character, but that's usually in the antagonist, where he's like a failed Char clone, which is... almost feels like a meta commentary at a certain point. But it's literally just like it sounds like there's like an edgelord like failed Char clone, which sucks because apparently he pilots the gray Sinanju Stein, which I love the Sinanju Stein, so hearing that, you know, the pilot is kind of shit makes me a little sad. It doesn't change my love for the mech, but you know, you never like to hear, you know, one of your favorite mechs has kind of a lame ass pilot. I put that on backwards, didn't I? Did I? No, I didn't. So what am I doing wrong here? Give me one moment. I did nothing wrong. I just had self-doubt for no reason. Okay. Yeah, Ideon. I need to watch Ideon because I want to see Tomino at his most just bloodthirsty. In all honesty. Okay, so what did I do? Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh wait, what? Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. I put this on wrong. Okay, 1 minute. Oh shit. Why are you all so tight? Oh shit. 1 minute. I completely forked this build and I need to fix it like right now. And that fell on the floor. Okay. Oh shit. You never want to hear that. You never want to hear that in any context, but oh yeah, I completely fucked up this build. I don't know if I put the neon backwards or what I did, but I completely messed this up. And I realized why it wasn't fitting together properly. It's because I literally missed the... On both sides, I missed the pegs. I misaligned both sides. But somehow got it to come together because I fucked up on both sides. They ended up meeting together nonetheless. But that doesn't change the fact that I messed it up. Let me fix this and I'll get back to you, chat. There we go. That's a lot better. Okay. That is an impressive fuck up that I did there. And speaking of impressive fuck ups, chat, you see a problem here? I think we might have made another mistake. Okay. Victory Gundam Unicorn. Banana is cool because he got with Zabi. Ooh. Huh. Nothing more grim than Victory. Why you like the... I don't know, fucking... I don't know what you're referring to, why you're like the groomer. I can't think of a groomer in Gundam right now. I mean, people always talk about Char being a groomer, but that's more of the fact that he keeps making child soldiers with woeful abandon. Ooh. Actually, because we put it on correct now, this is actually tighter, which is kind of cool. Also, yeah, I had it on backwards, I think, is what how did I... I'm stupid! Okay. It's fine. It's fine, chat, don't worry. I just forgot to... Chat, you see these? These are supposed to go under this shit. Oh my god. Oh! No! I'm impressively dumb. Okay, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Like, we're wrapping this up. It doesn't matter, you know? It's cool. We're not doing anything more than this, and fate has decided it for us. Okay. Ah, god. I'm waiting for the Char's counterattack re-release to, like, get back into the UC. Just because I feel like it'd just be thematically fitting, and it'd just be a good place to get into it. Also, I find it funny how, like, we spent on one stream, like, several minutes figuring out, like, why is it getting re-released on, you know, March 12th, you know? Is it because, like, March 12th is when the things happen in the story, and, like, we looked it up, and it's like, oh, yeah, you know, like, you know, the events of the story seem to take place around March 12th, but it doesn't, like, confirm exactly March 12th. Chat, the original freaking movie was released on March 12th. I spent so long looking up why was it March. Like I was going full Alex Jones trying to figure out the timeline of this shit. It's just the original movie was released on March 12th. I fucking dumb as shit. Oh my god, the answer was right there. I think that was also on a stream where I talk about how I overthink solutions and just end up hurting myself in the end by doing it. And I feel like that's just a fine example of that. Okay, so... narrative is just rushed mess with a bad animation and great... Oh, okay. If the manga's better, then I might just do the manga. There's many times I've done that. I am not unfamiliar with just, you know, just read the manga, bro. I am not unfamiliar with that shit. There are plenty of examples. I can't think of examples off the top of my head because I'm focused on this, but there are plenty of times where it is just like, just do the manga. You're gonna have a better time. And, son of a bitch, I'm gonna have to take this off again because it's gonna just be too difficult to put... 1 minute. It's gonna be too difficult to put this back on with it any other way. There we go. Yeah, because it's angled, so I don't know if I can even put it back on when it's already off. Then we need to line this up, get it on. We're good. We're golden. I need to watch Golden Boy. That has nothing to do with mecha, but that's a really, like, everything I've ever seen from that anime looks hilarious. It's just a dude who's trying to get with, like, women, but then, like, he either can never, like, by like the end of each episode, he ends up having to, like, he's a drifter, so he just drifts off to somewhere else. But by the end of each episode, like, the women he's trying to get with are like, actually, he was pretty cool. He's gone now? Dang, I definitely would have laid with that. I need to watch Golden Boy. Oh, God. You should, have, a magazine Z watch, stream. Ooh. God, I've wanted to do Gundam watch togethers, but, like, the coordination on, like, doing a normal watch together is so much that, like, unless it's a movie, it'd be, yeah, God. Honestly, if I can't make it to the movie theater, we might honestly do, even though it's going to be re-released in theaters, we might do a Char's counterattack on the 12th if we can't get to a movie theater. If I can't get to a movie theater that day. Ooh, which might be neat, but... Like, I really want, like, on Christmas, I wanted to do War in the Pocket, but, like, coordinating the individual episodes and whatnot, and, like, that, like, on, this isn't Gundam, but I wanted to do, a watch-along with Over the Garden Wall during, Halloween. But again, coordinating, you know, everything with the timing of the episodes and having to restart the clock every time, I just wasn't sure if that was in the cards. But we might try to do something a little more advanced in watch-alongs in the future. But yeah, I've wanted to do, you know, like OVAs and like things that, you know, we could do in like a 3 to 4 hour stream as a watch-along before. But it's just that those mini-series and whatnot are just, it's the coordination that always kind of stops me and makes me a little second-guess myself. Not so fun fact, Rede's, I'm terrible with names. Dude, did you know that Judo's the youngest, like, Gundam protagonist in the original series? Like, Amuro's like 16, Camille's like 15, and then Judo, who looks older than both of them. Judo, who looks like he's 19 years old, he's 14 years old. I guess that's just what happens when you live as a garbage boy for the first several years of your life. Like, Judo's 14 years old, and when I found that out, I was like, what the hell? Also, apparently Camille might look, if he was in real life, might look like Mark Hamill, because there's promotional art of him, and the photo and like the realistic like painting of him was based off of Mark Hamill. I also found that out recently. I saw that and I was like, that Camille looks like Mark Hamill. I must be seeing things. And it's like, no, they actually based they based the art for Camille in this image off of Mark Hamill. That's really fucking weird. Though by the end of Zeta Gundam, it kind of makes sense with the fucking magical bullshit he does. He is borderline Luke Skywalker in the expanded Luke Skywalker in the expanded universe at a certain fucking point. He's like Luke Skywalker in the books. Luke Skywalker, who's so powerful in the Star Wars books, they literally had to write excuses for why he couldn't just solve the issues. Why can't you just be the one who takes out, you know, the new Dark Lord of the Sith? And he's like, if I did, it would be too simple a solution for the writing. I'm sorry, I mean, I thought somebody else killed my wife, so I took revenge on them, and that pulled me too close to the dark side. He actually did kill my wife, and so if I killed him, I just go full dark side and destroy the whole galaxy. I wouldn't even go Emperor Palpatine. I wouldn't conquer it. I'd just destroy everything. It's like, cool story, bro. Cool story. You know what? Before we finish stream, we're gonna do the hands. I don't know if I skipped the hands, but we're gonna do the hands so we don't have to do that at the end of everything. Yeah. And the hands are literally 2 pieces. They're not gonna be difficult. Quest was like 13. Yeah, but that was a child soldier that Char was just manipulating. He didn't actually plan to go down with that, man. Char don't care about nobody. After that one Indian chick died, he closed his heart out to everybody, let's be honest. Gwyneth was like 20. I'm not saying that there's no issue with, Jesus Christ, I'm not saying that there's no issue with fucking the age shit. Fucking grooming and pedo shit is bad. If you are like 18 and you are dating somebody who is like 14, get the fuck out. I must have miscommunicated something. My apologies. But no, we do not fucking, no, grooming is awful. Fucking, I recently learned the term only a few months ago of like preheating the oven, which is literally just another term for grooming. No, that's disgusting. We do not condone that shit. We actively condemn that shit. Okay? If there is some form of miscommunication in this stream because I did not have context or I said something that was ignorant because I did not have the context, my apologies. But no, we actively fucking hate grooming here. We despise it with an active passion. Ooh. Make no mistake. I was more talking about the fact that Char, like, I know earlier I was talking about Char, you know, literally like grooming child soldiers, which is, you know, still bad because they're child soldiers, but you know. Ooh. But I was more making a contextual statement for like how Char don't really care about people. He just views them as like a tool to an end. I have no idea what those beam sabers are for. I just realized I have pink beam sabers. I have no idea where they're for. Okay. I'm having a stroke on stream. Oh, sorry about that. On the preview. Holy shit. Eyes must have been looking away. The butchering of Mazingers I was reading that as magazine. I hate how close that is to magazine. To Mazinger's name. Personally, Thunderbolt is a peak gun. Thunderbolt has some really great action in it. The one thing I did not like about Thunderbolt is I feel like they made the child soldiers look too young. They made them, instead of looking like they were 14, like 16 or even 14, they made them just look like they were like 10 years old, and I'm just like, I don't know, I feel like that feels a little hyperbolic. And if it's like, well, they were supposed to be like 10 years old, well, I feel like that's a little bit much. I feel like you're taking the parody scene from Starship Troopers where the child goes like, I'm doing my part, and you put it in your work unironically. I feel like that might be a bit much. But outside of that, that's a very small point. Ooh. But outside of that, I think it's a real solid from what I've seen of it. I need to watch the sequel, like the other Gundam Thunderbolt still. I need to watch what is it called? It's like Gundam Gundam Rose or whatever the hell it's called, but the sequel OVA and or like compilation movie. I don't know which one is accessible in America. I don't even know if they both have translations that are accessible. But again, torrents exist, don't they? Uso Irwin 12, main character of Victory. Jesus Christ. But to be fair, I was saying original Gundam as in like up to Char's counterattack. But Quest being younger, well, Quest is not a main character. Quest is just a crazy bitch. So she doesn't count. Then again, if she's 13, Hathaway might also be 13, so Hathaway might beat out Judo for being the youngest Gundam protagonist in the original run of Gundam. So I need to look at that. Biggest kill count goes to Uso as well. Wouldn't be surprised. Shit gets real intense from what I hear in Victory Gundam. Lala? Bandit Flower? I think it is Bandit Flower. It had something to do with frickin' flowers, is why I said rose. There's like several Gundams that have references to roses in their names. You have the Rose Gundam, you have the Rosen Gundam. I can't remember other ones. There's 2. That counts as several. You have to have at least like 3 or 4 to be several. Don't focus on that. Hello, Land. We're just talking about stuff where we're trying to find the hands. I was like, we'll build the hands before we end the stream, because that'll be something really quick to do and it won't be a lot of work. I can't find the hands worth a damn, and do you know why? Because they're in over here. Because I put them over there because I was like, I'm not going to need them this stream. I was wrong. Ooh, but thank you for getting Bandit Flower out. Ooh. I couldn't remember its exact name, and I knew Rose was probably wrong. Oh, need to read the Thunder. It does have a manga. I need to read the freaking Gundam Wing manga first. I'm gonna read the Gundam Wing manga before I read the Thunderbolt manga. Then I'll read the Thunderbolt manga. Then I'll read the Gundam the Origin manga. That seems like a good plan. God. And because they're finished manga, I won't catch up to them and then be like, well, I've caught up to them, and then forget to keep up with them. Because that's like what happens so often in manga with me. Like, I'd be like, oh god, this is really good, catch up to it. And then it's just like, I gotta come back like every week. Oh, what's that? It didn't come out this week, it's coming out next. Okay, well, I'm just gonna forget it exists. I'm just gonna forget about it. I'm gonna be like 50 chapters behind, then I'll binge read it all over again. Then I'll catch up and not keep up with it again. It's all cool, man. That's how I've been reading One Piece for the last several years. And what's that? I'm like 300 chapters behind. Ah, excellent. I know my plans for the next few days. Oh god. Let's see here. Cutting your arms and legs off for a mobile suit is. He do that. Shit, he do that. He literally just goes like, well, you know what? You killed my friend, so I'm just gonna go like. I feel like I'd love to see Gundam do something like that again in like an AU, and I feel like they kind of did with like Iron-Blooded Orphans, but I'd like to see that like made even more of a focus. But I don't know if you could make it more of a focus than they did with Iron-Blooded Orphans outside of an OVA, and we already have Thunderbolt for that focus in an OVA, so maybe they've already kind of hit as far as you can go with, literally crippling yourself just to pilot a mech. but I'd still like to see it. It's a good concept. It's just that commitment to becoming the machine and how you literally lose yourself in doing some shit like that. If I hear something bad about the movie, I will not watch it. Still haven't watched Bandit Flower. Ooh. Oh shit, I can see. Earlier you guys were saying how like the hands weren't the best. Yeah, I can see that right now. I can see those hands are not gonna be. Yeah, these are not the hands of like a Witch from Mercury set, which have like the square inside of their hands, but can still like hold like round beam sabers, like as well as they can hold like the square beam sabers built for them, which is really, really good. Like the molding on the Witch from Mercury hands are incredibly good because they are backwards compatible while still being designed for their like modern for their more blocky modern beam sabers. It's really impressive. But yeah, I can see this is probably gonna be a bit of a loose fit. It's gonna probably be like the Nightingale, which also has a trouble holding its beam saber, but its beam saber has like its big crest thing going on, so you can kind of like use that to leverage it to still look good. This doesn't have anything to leverage with its beam saber, so I can definitely see this being a bit of an issue. Now that I don't even have anything in their hands right now, but I can definitely see this becoming an issue. Ooh. So let's see where we are. Cutting arms off, which means I don't know how it continues. Oh god. I have not heard actually anything about Bandit Flower, which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Like, I've heard nothing at all about it. Oh man, I haven't watched so much Gundam shows. Man, I'm still catching up with Gundam, and ooh, right now I've like not watched in like half a month Gundam X just because I've just been so busy. Ooh, and I really need to get back onto it because Gundam X is really damn good, and it's like only like 39 episodes, so like I'm technically almost halfway through it already. It's just I'm just not the best sometimes at that kind of shit. I fall off of something and then it takes like a whole month for me to get back on it. But hopefully tomorrow I'll have enough time to watch some of that great show. But here we have him. I need to reframe my camera so I can actually fit these biggest fuckboys on this camera. Is what I need to do. Sorry for cursing. Ooh. But let's see here. We have this. Let's throw the Zaku that's still missing an eye. Its eye is literally right there. I'm just too lazy to put it in. Where the hell is your head? Where is your head? I took his head off yesterday. Where did it go? It's probably just like right here, just under the sprues, but he ain't got no head. But like, Jesus Christ, this is gonna be... I know that like it's gonna like get a little bit shorter when we put the waist on and whatnot, but Christ alive, this is gonna be a big boy. This is gonna be a very big boy. Isn't it like head height, so crest doesn't count? I think it's like as tall as the Sazabi, if not taller, on head height. It's big. I could be wrong on that. I think it's like a 23 or 22 by head height, but this is also like the era where like because you have things like this, and you know you have like its big ass head spike where like it literally. I like how Gundam, as it goes on, it has to have two height measurements. You have to have the head height, which is like its actual height. Then it's like, here's like, you know, its funnel height. Here's like its backpack height, because, you know, it just adds so much fucking height that they have to divide the two like measurements, which is always kind of funny. Don't worry, his head is still there. I swear to God, by the end of this build, he's just gonna be in bits and pieces though. And I'm gonna have to get out a different Zaku because I'm gonna be too lazy to put him back together. Oh god, but I actually kind of want to. Saying that, actually, let's be a little gentle with taking this off. Well, actually, let's saying bits and pieces. Let's actually do that. Let's tempt fate, chat. Oh, that's actually pretty neat. How the arm is definitely proportionally bigger overall, but It's kind of interesting how the arm is at the like lower L. It has like two shoulders. At the lower shoulder is kind of the same length as the classic Zaku arm. You can still see that it's way bigger, but the length is still there. That's actually pretty interesting. That's just a coincidence. But you can, because it's disassembled, you can appreciate the size difference a lot more with like the legs and whatnot off of it. You can see how much smaller the Zaku is. Ooh. Yeah, then they get real small. The F91 is still the smallest thing I own because I don't have that one. I don't have that one like a transformable tank mobile suit from I think Unicorn or Narrative. I can't remember which one it's from. I want it, but I don't got it. Those ones are teensy tiny though. Those ones I think are like only like 12 or 10 meters. They are so tiny. They're so small that two of them come in one Gunpla box, which you know that means that they're tiny. So many people recommend Iron-Blooded Orphans, but I still haven't watched it. And I have a pretty good amount of free time. Iron-Blooded Orphans is really peak in the first season because it's really peak. Like, I think it does everything right in the first season. And the second season, it kind of fumbles it, but it still carries through its core idea, so it's still good. It's just that in Iron-Blooded Orphans, the important thing to remember is you're not watching good people. You're watching very bad people. However, hearing you haven't watched Iron-Blooded Orphans makes me really happy because earlier today, I was going on a big rant, a good rant, but I was going on a big rant about Iron-Blooded Orphans, and I was, I'm happy I didn't do that on stream because I would have spoiled so much about just like the themes and what's going on in Iron-Blooded Orphans and like how everything plays out. But I do love Iron-Blooded Orphans was was the first AU I watched after getting back into Gundam. Of course, I watched the 0079 first, because you should always start with 0079. There's no reason you shouldn't, because everything is literally built off of 0079. Every AU you watch is built off of 0079. Gundam Seed is literally 0079, but with more melodrama. That's what it is. It's the 1 year war, but with love triangles. Okay. Gundam Wing is actually not 0079, it's actually Zeta Gundam, but if the Grips conflict, if the Titans were successful in their coup, and what would have happened after that. Iron-Blooded Orphans, without spoiling too much, is what if we were following a different faction during what if instead of following, you know, during the 1 year war white base, what if we were following these people instead? Not to say too much about it, but it's always important to have that context of the Universal Century, at least up until Char's counterattack, because so much of Gundam is built on at least that era of Gundam, if not more, from the UC. Because isn't it even like the most recent Gundam Seed movie? Like, I've heard it's I've heard it's comparable to Char's counterattack. I don't know if that's true, but like I've heard that. So even like there, you know, you still need the context of Char's counterattack. Rip Zaku. The Universal Mobile suits keep getting bigger. Yeah. I feel like they didn't get. I don't have a problem with them miniaturizing, but I feel like they never got as big as they could have. I always feel like they should have gotten to like 25 meters, then gotten smaller. But it feels like they got to like 24 meters. And I feel like they should have. I feel like the hero and villain one should have gotten to 30, and the mass-produced one should have gotten to like 25. But it's more like the hero mechs got to 25, and like the mass-produced ones got to 23 or 22, and that's kind of the cutoff point. And that's kind of disappointing, though. I feel like that's not actually, though I feel like Hathaway's Flash is kind of correcting that, because I think the mobile suits in that are actually like closer to that 30 meter range. Ooh. Don't worry, the Zaku's alive. Okay. It'll get so small. Char's counterattack with the Zazabi and the Unicorn with the absolute monster Neo Zeon. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know why, but I've talked about this on stream, but I love how, it's because he brought up the Neo Zeon, but I love how the Zeong is a bastardization of, like, you know, the ideals of Zeon, the guy who the nation of Zeon is named after. And so I love how Char, as the pettiest piece of thing ever, it's like you bastardized my dad's name. You used his ideals for your own ends, and like you used his ideals for your own ends, which had nothing to do with his ideals. And like, so what I'm gonna do to the Zabi family is I'm gonna make this a Zabi. I'm going to use the idea of, you know, like the Zeon that they made to, you know, create, you know, the third Zeon war, or like the Char's rebellion. Yeah, of course it wasn't called, like the second Neo Zeon war, the third Zeon war, whatever you want to call it. But I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna use your guys', like, just as you use the messaging of my father for your own ends, I'm gonna use your legacy for my own ends. Fuck you. Absolute peak. True hater material. We love Char Aznable here. Absolute peak guy. The only thing I know is that there's some old mobile suit. I'd rather watch Missing Kaiser SK instead of Iron Blooded Orphans. That's up to you. I haven't seen Missing. I'll admit. No, I've never seen Missing Kaiser fully through. I've seen episodes though. I do know that. But that was also when I was really young. Perfect Zeong is peak. Perfect Zeong looks so weird because you're just so used to. It's like Leela from Futurama with 2 eyes. You're so used to her having that big one, like that big one eye, that when she gets 2, you're like, this doesn't look right, even though she now looks more normal. And the Zeong is exactly like that. You're just like, it having legs, you're like, this isn't right. This is wrong. Even though it just looks like a normal mobile suit now. Also, I think it's like 40 meters, right? When it has legs, because it's literally just... Because literally the Psycho Gundam is just a Zeong with a Gundam skin over top, with like a Gundam skin over top of it and can transform. Yeah, it's the Zeong with legs. Karate was enough for the, oop. Oh. Wait, what? Karate was enough for the, Neo Zeong. I don't even know that, okay, but if they fucking, if the Neo Zeong is beaten through melee combat, that's fucking hilarious. Don't spoil it though. But that is the end of stream. We're gonna be here all night talking if we don't stop now. My dog is losing his mind because he's not getting attention and he's hearing, you know, me yapping in here. So let's just, you know. Literally somebody outside this literally said, it's not his responsibility to let you out, it's Merrick's. So, on that point, I think we have reached the end of our broadcasting hours. Thank you very much for all who have joined us. Whether you have joined us for yapping, whether you have, you know, been lurking, it's appreciated. You're loved. Whether you've got us live or in the VOD, it's appreciated. I'm actually going to real quickly look for a redirect before I get the Star Spangled banner up. I'm going. I'll keep the avatar up on the screen, but let's look for a place to redirect you guys. I can't do raids on YouTube. And I don't have enough people where I feel like a raid would be appropriate on Twitch, but I will redirect you on Twitch as well. Well, let me find a place to redirect you guys for anyone watching now or in the future. We went to Uriker last time. We've done Pipkin Pippa way too many times. We've redirected to. I'm gonna say copy. We're gonna redirect on YouTube to Mokoko and to Fuwamoko. So there you go for YouTube, and then for Twitch. Well. Then for Twitch, let's see here. We're gonna redirect to a little bit of a surprising place that I've never redirected to. We're gonna redirect on Twitch to Mari_en. So, there you go. Ominous link. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's YouTube, so it's safe. Don't worry about it. But thank you one and all for joining us again. But we have a last reason end of our broadcasting hours, and as always, I'd like to tell you to have a great day and a wonderful life, and always remember, don't lose your head. Here's signing off to you from Merrick Vespa, from I've said signing off so many times, but have a good night, everybody. Let me get the song up. Star Spangled Banner. There we go. Okay, and I've done the redirect, so have a great night, everybody. Oh, and of course we'll be back tomorrow to finish this build about at the same time. We might be starting at 8, we'll be starting between 8 and 9 again. So have a good time in the meantime.